Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. I'm here with Zach. We're just chit-chatting it up as always, like the usual,
Yeah,
the
that's just how
usual
it be.
bullshit.
Back on our bullshit, always doing it.
So we're considering rebranding our podcast 4 episodes in. Is that right, Zach?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah,
We're now the Wii U debate podcast, where all we talk about is debating the Wii U and its merits and demerits.
yeah, that should be it for the till the end of time.
Just
We'll never
every
come with a there'll never be a conclusive answer on if
yeah,
we use it or not.
we just never get anywhere.
No,
We're just
it's
like
we just
we're
bring
just
up
like
the same
I don't know.
points
Like,
every episode.
Like I'm always like super neutral and you're always like super for it, but I'm just like
Yeah.
never convinced. I'm just like
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm always like my personal experience with the Wii U is the sensor bar it stopped working and blah 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 blah, and I just always
Dumb
bring that up.
bullshit.
I'm just
Yeah.
like it barely even works from like 5 feet away. What were they thinking?
And then I just always bring up the counterpoint. It's just your gamepad that's having the issue.
Yeah, no,
here.
you're just like dude, you don't even need the gamepad. I'm like, yeah, it just always has to be on. It's stupid, and it always has to be charging, and it dies in like an hour.
I've never had this issue. It's just your unit.
It's just change it to my Wii U sucks, with like gamepad in parentheses, and it's like really small. It's so stupid.
What if someone has made a custom Joy-Con shell made out of like the same like glossy black plastic that the gamepad was made out of?
Oh,
I think that'd be
I feel like I don't know what it is with like the shit the Wii U is made of, but I feel like it just gets really dusty for some reason,
No.
like just super easily, or just like greasy.
that's just glossy black plastic as a whole.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, for
anything
sure.
that's glossy black will immediately get dust, fingerprints, and hair.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I don't know how.
It's
I
just
owned a
impossible to
Retron-
keep clean.
I owned a Retron 5. Some of that thing got super dusty, partly because the Retron 5 sucks, but also it's just glossy black plastic. It looks good in marketing material, but that's
Yeah.
just about it.
It looks good for like those like sizzle reel trailers where people are like playing with it, but they always show them like on the couch like from behind the controller, so you can't see all like
Yeah.
the smudges on it. Mm-hmm. Or like I don't know how they would put like a protector on the gamepad, because that thing is just so big.
Yeah.
Like the Switch screen, it makes sense because it's like small and you could put it on in like one go.
They're
Like the
kinda-
gamepad is all like
kinda
one.
similar.
Yes, or yeah, the shape definitely, absolutely. All they did was like switch the sticks so that
Yeah.
they'd be on the same side when you pop off the Joy-Cons. Did you see that like 4chan post when the Switch first came out, where like the guy sawed the sides off of the gamepad and he was like, "Look, guys, I got
Yeah.
a Switch."
I remember that. That was really
That was
funny.
so funny. Someone could probably make that a mod and make that like actually
No, I-
work.
I remember where I was when that initial video trailer dropped. I was in class
Oh,
because
yeah.
it was Mr. Oh God, I can't say.
Yeah,
his name,
don't
'cause
just say with the subject or something. Don't make me bleep more things.
Mr. Teacher Man, my former animation
That
teacher.
works. Oh, I'll have to censor that. Oh, I know who you're talking about.
We were talking a little bit about the NX for a while, and we were thinking that it was going to get announced at some
Dude, you
point
summoned
during
it.
2017. And then, like, the thing is, though, I remember when Nintendo announced it happening, he was, like, just constantly, he was on YouTube, and we were just working. No way, he said, everyone turn off your screens. We have to watch this, see what
Put the
this is.
Switch trailer up on class.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It was, because he is a big Nintendo fan. He got the Switch day one.
Is he a
and
Nintendo
he was-
fan for the win?
Epic. And he even like he was the first person in Las Vegas to get a 3DS. He was like the registered first person, like that guy,
That's crazy.
Captain Nintendo dude, who was the registered first person in the world to get a Switch because he like camped out in New York for 30 days.
Except for the people who got it early for press releases and reviews.
Oh.
How do you review a console anyway? Like everything is subjective, really.
And also, how do you review a console at launch?
Yeah, really. Because
Would it
like
be better
remember all the controversy that was like, Switches are like breaking and warping
Yeah.
and cracking, and the Joy-Cons are exploding or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
People are like, dude, that's probably like every console has like malfunctions. It doesn't mean like every
Yeah, like the
Switch.
fucking Red Ring of Death.
Yeah, that was awful. That was probably the worst like gaming. That was
Yeah.
probably like the worst
And-
console error like ever. Honestly.
No, The thing is that the PS3 had something equally as bad, but it was just less talked about. It was called the yellow light of death.
Really?
It just didn't. Yeah, it just didn't happen to as many units. But
That
yeah,
makes
console
sense.
launches never go well.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of things that people expect because they're expensive. They every console manufacturer knows they're not going to get a profit for a while.
Yeah, yeah, you talked about that. It comes from the profits come from the games, not the console.
Yeah.
Because obviously
And
people are only really going to buy one, maybe two.
but yeah, I genuinely think that these reviewing websites, they need to wait to fully review a console when its life is done.
Like at least a week maybe if you're going to try and shit one out for like views or clicks or whatever. I'd say like play some games on it and then like share how you feel about it after playing with it instead of just opening it up and being like, oh, my first impressions, because that's not a full like in-depth review quote unquote of a console. It's just like, oh, it's neat, I guess.
They need to be titled as such. They need to be titled as first impressions.
Yeah, totally.
A review, I think, should at least at most be at the end of the console's life, or at least
halfway or something.
Well, yeah,
there's no real way of knowing.
Yeah, but I'm saying when like actual good releases come out for it, like if like I'm saying if Mario, like I think I've heard this from somewhere. I think Arlo said it. If Mario Maker was a Wii U launch title, I think there would be it would have like the gamepad would be a lot less shit on for like sure. What it was.
Yeah,
because if you would have had 2 games at launch that would have showed like the actual functionality for it. Nintendo Land with its asymmetrical multiplayer and Mario Maker, because you can it's like it's the catalyst. It's the perfect thing to do with this controller.
Even the Switch with Mario Maker 2 kind of works like the gamepad did, where you just use the touch screen if you're in handheld mode, which honestly I just find easier. Like after using like the docked mode for a while, I can kind of get into it. And it's like pretty intuitive, but like it takes a little while to like actually like it clearly wasn't made for controller use, but like it is possible if you're like dedicated. Like I made a whole level on stream with Louis one time where I just used the controller because obviously I have to keep it plugged in to stream.
Yeah, it was fun. Well, I mean, in theory, you could have gotten a Katsu Kitty.
No, I'm not doing that.
But those are ludicrously expensive, no longer in production.
Dude, if I was like Fortnite Ninja and I was making like mad money from streaming, then like I'd be like, okay, I will pay for that convenience of being able to stream in handheld mode, because I literally wouldn't even have to turn from my computer. I could literally just play my Switch in handheld mode at my laptop and just be like, oh, cool, and then just like glance up at chat and then look down, because right now I have to like turn to the right to my TV, which is like across the room, and I usually have like chat on my second monitor or something. I like what Donkey said about Mario Maker. He was like, you take 2 mediocre ideas, the Wii U gamepad and like a Mario level maker, and you put them together and you get something like amazing.
Yeah, I think that does make sense.
Yeah, which I don't know. Some people might find Mario level maker like because that's been done ever since like Newgrounds was a thing, right? Someone would throw together like, oh, make your own Mario level with like Flash or something. And it's like,
people
that's
definitely
neat.
have done that.
It's a good like proof of concept where it's like, oh, neat. Remember when Nintendo said they would use Mario Maker levels to influence the creation of future Mario games, and there hasn't been a Mario 2D game since like NSMBU?
Yeah, but you know what? I think that means that they're developing a new 2D Mario game.
Maybe.
And I'm guessing they're taking influence from Mario Maker 2 and Mario Maker 1.
You know what I think would be a cool gimmick for like an NSMB game? If it was like Yoshi's Crafted World and it was like 2.5D or something.
Yeah,
you could like interact with the background, or maybe like the level like turns, and then like you know those gimmicks where there's like something in the background, like Super Paper Mario or something like that, and you'll like rotate it or something, and then it'll be in the foreground. They could totally do something like that. That would be super dope.
It would be a good concept for a series that has been stale for the past few years.
That would have been great on the 3DS too. They could have used the 3D. Weren't they already, by New Super Mario Bros. 2, weren't they already not using the 3D anymore? Like, was that one of those games where it was like 3D not included or something
No,
like that?
3D did work. It's just that it didn't really bring much benefit.
No, but you know what I mean, right? Like, you know how like Superstar
Yeah.
Saga, the remake, is like 3D not supported. Like, you turn on the 3D,
Yeah.
it just does nothing. I found it kind of cool in Dream Team because you could see like some depth, but I think they're still
Yeah.
sprites, aren't they?
I think so.
They're just like they have like
Really
depth map on them or
cleverly
something
layered.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just like very well shaded.
Okay, I need to say something. I beat Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, or
Oh,
at least
yeah.
the main 4 chapters.
Nice.
This is
Yeah,
my
I heard you
favorite
talking about
visual
it.
novel.
Don't spoil anything for me because you
I'm not
kind of got
going
me
to.
wanting to play it.
It's you will fucking love it.
We should let's play it because it's one of those games that you've played now and that I know
Yeah.
nothing about.
Okay, I would say there was a bonus episode that was made like specifically for the DS version because it was originally a GBA game.
Yeah, I heard.
And I'm playing it. I don't like it as much as the other episodes so far, but it's fine. But like the main 4 chapters, the best visual novel I have ever fucking played.
That's cool.
So good.
I haven't played many. Obviously, not like anime dating
Yeah.
sims or whatever, but like
I'm
mean,
not
like,
much of a
legitimate-
VN guy either.
Yeah.
But like,
I want to do something. I had an idea for a VN. I don't know if you saw like my post about it. I don't even think I've like publicly talked about it. So I guess if you're listening now to the podcast, it's like your first peek into it because I've only told like
idea.
I've only told shut up. I've only told like a select few people about like my idea for like the gimmick for the VN, but it was basically going to be kind of like a regular like school. It was going to be in college because I'm sick of all like the high school VNs because it's all like high
Yeah.
school, and then they're like,
Yeah,
oh, the
very
characters
legal.
are basically. I'd rather just not ride that line. I'd rather just go right through it. But it's going to be like college, and the gimmick was going to be that like your dialogue options are based on mind reading, and you could choose whether or not to respond based on like what you hear the girls say in their head. If you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
that
they'll
sounds
say
fucking
something.
sweet.
Yeah. I'm totally super like hyper fixated on doing it someday. It's definitely a game I want to make before I die or something like that.
Yeah.
Because what is it? Renpi or Renpi? I don't know how to pronounce it. It's really easy. It's Python. I really just gotta like sit down and like get into it. I kind of want to make like a practice game though, and not worry about having to like make this like dream project on like
as
my
your
first go. As like my first project. I'd rather just make like some meme game or
Yeah.
something like that with like assets from another game just as a joke.
My philosophy is save your dream project till you have money for it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, time and money. I'd rather not half-ass it and then just like burn out or something like that. But there was also going to be like a mechanic where you can't like mind read too much, or they'll start to like catch on, and they'll get like freaked out and like not want to talk to you. So that's basically like surface level mechanics. Like I obviously want to go more in depth, but that's very much like the concept. And everyone I've told has been like, that's pretty dope. And
It's a really cool idea.
I've like brainstormed character ideas with like a couple friends and like arc ideas and stuff like that. I don't want to spoil too much, but they've all provided some really interesting stuff. So I'm looking forward to like writing that. Obviously, it'll help me flex like my writing skills. I hope I'm not echoing too much, by the way. Obviously, it'll help me flex like my creative writing skills because I've literally never written like a character in my life. So it sure is going to be something to write like 4 of them plus the main character. I don't want the main character to be like too much of a self-insert, but I want him to be like relatable enough to where you could be like, yeah, I could see myself doing this or saying this or being like that or something like that. They could probably even have like selectable pronouns where you just like put in your pronouns at the beginning and they'll just refer to you however, and they'll just talk in the same way no matter what. That's what I like about like certain games, especially like games where it's very much supposed to be like you, except they always refer to the main character as like he.
If it was focused on
Like-
dating, like you said, should just be player sexual.
Yeah, like fire. Yeah, exactly. If you're having like a dating game, like there's no harm in just having all the characters being player sexual. If the game is like, I don't know, if the game is like something like, oh, God forbid me for saying this, but I can't think of anything else. If the game is like Life is Strange, where the characters are very like, set in stone, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Like the characters are just the characters. They're themselves. They're not you. They're not anyone else. But
It's
but
just
like
their story.
and when they have like a sexuality or something like that, it's a lot more like impactful. You know, it means a lot more than when like a female character in a game is player sexual. It's just like, oh, they just like whatever you are. It's like, yeah, it just makes sense.
Example like would be Greg from Night in the Woods, because he is gay and has a boyfriend in game.
I never played those games. Those
Night
games.
In the Woods is good.
Those games give me. I've heard mixed things. Those games give me very like mixed vibes that I don't know how to feel about them at all, because I've heard such drastic things from both sides.
I really like Night in the Woods. I don't know. I'm on the side of I can't stand Life is Strange, and I really like Night in the Woods. So,
we should play. We should play it and just like see how I feel.
Yeah, I think so.
On that note, we should have like a shitty movie night or something like that, where we just watch a terrible movie. I was thinking about that. I don't want to play. I don't know. I think like shitty games are kind of overdone, because it's like, what can you say? Not that we're gonna like put up a video of us reacting to a movie. I mean, unless you guys want to see that, but I don't know. But
I mean, there's a Your Movie Sucks. He does that. He releases a full length commentary track where him and his friends commentate over a movie. That's
pretty funny.
And then they pull down the highlights of the movie.
Doesn't Saberspark do that too? Like whenever he reviews a shitty movie, he'll upload like highlights of him reacting to it. I always see like, what the fuck is this? And then let's watch this. So it's like, oh, that sounds fun. So you could see the review and then like see how he initially reacted or something. I don't know.
You know what I learned also from the credits of Ace Attorney? Fucking Shinji Mikami, the guy who made Resident Evil, was the executive producer on it.
That's hilarious.
I did not realize this.
I love Easter eggs like that.
That's I don't think it's an Easter egg. It's just crazy to know that he worked on this too.
I just love shit like that, where it's like you notice something and you're like, what the fuck?
This guy who made other good thing made this good thing I like too.
Greatness follows.
Yeah, but okay. I think how I'm feeling about this episode, like this bonus one, is that I like
you meant this episode of the podcast. I was like, we're only like 15 minutes in.
I like recording the podcast. I was saying the bonus episode of Ace Attorney. I like it, but not as much as the others. But also, it just doesn't have this thing that gets me hooked like the others do. Like when I started playing it, I was like, oh boy, I get to play more. I get to see what happens now.
Yeah.
And I binged the entire 4th episode today just so I could finish it, just so I could gush about it on the podcast.
Did you start the second episode already? I saw someone mention just dive right in.
I started the bonus. I didn't start.
I meant the second game. That's what I meant.
No, after I'm done with the bonus episode, I want to play something else. I want to take my time.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't want to get burnt out in the middle of Trials and Tribulations.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about a few games. I might play Doom, because I accidentally got sucked into it when I was testing out GZ Doom, and it's just so fun.
I got Doom 2016 on Steam because it was like $20, or it was like really cheap, like way cheaper than it used to be. So I was like, I'll cop it just so I can play it someday. Yeah. But I really want to play it before the new one comes out, because it looks so cool.
Dude, they changed Doom guy from Doom 2016 to Doom Eternal. He's he's beefy as fuck now in Eternal. He's fucking chonky.
Man, this podcast is going all sorts of places. Oh yeah, another like player. There was like an article or something with like Animal Crossing New Leaf, where like Isabelle was like considered bisexual because she says like some flirty line no matter what gender you are, and people were like, oh, that's an epic win. And I'm like, because like I don't know, just like it's a lot less impactful, but it's like at that point, just make all the characters like I hate to loop back on this, I'm sorry, but it was just like something I was thinking of. But yeah, you should really take breaks from games, even if you like all of them. Like I could not play every single Pokemon game in a row as much as I love them. It just like burns into your brain. You're just like, I gotta do something else.
I genuinely don't know how someone like Worcester, a guy who does Pokemon speedruns, I'm not sure how he does not get tired of doing only Pokemon and Sonic runs, pretty much. Like
he does. And doesn't he have the world record in like every game? Like almost every game. He has
the most Pokemon world records like out of anyone. Jesus. And also he's done Pokemon Stadium, finish the game, like do everything world records, and those are legitimately 20 hours long.
Yeah, oh my God.
Like he is a mad lad, and I have a lot of respect for him.
Yeah, that's great. I wanted to talk about this. I'm glad we came to this. I want to speedrun Fire Red again. It was so fun. I just had a lot of fun like blasting through the game in like one sitting because it was like it was my first Pokemon game I ever got as a kid, and I had like so much trouble with like beating the game, and now just being able to like blaze through it in like 3 hours is really satisfying.
It's neat.
With just one Pokemon. It's so cool just like seeing just how fast you can beat a Pokemon game. Because you think of Pokemon and you're like, that's at least like 20, 30 hours or something to play casually.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, the speedrun is like 10% of that. It's like 1/10. You beat it in like 2 hours.
I somewhat did that. I just had to speedrun through Black. I had to run through Black really quickly to unlock challenge mode.
Just like casually using speedrun strats with like X items and stuff. Not worrying about like movement optimization or like
mostly just because
optimization.
I need to unlock challenge mode.
Yeah.
But like I gave my N-boy the lucky egg the immediate second I got it, and literally was level 84 at the end of the game. It was absolutely wild.
I think there's a route of Black 2 where you catch an Excadrill, and then that becomes your Solomon. It's so good. I watched the White 2 speedrun on GDQ one year. It was so cool.
Just stuff like that's really cool. Just RNG manipulating a perfect Excadrill to use throughout the whole game.
I love shit like that in games where you just like the Link's Awakening speedrun I talked about last time.
Yeah.
Where you just like kill 8 Octoroks and walk backwards into the doghouse and you're just in the final boss because of memory corruption or whatever.
It truly is a feat. And imagine like how much like research has to go in.
I know.
Going through the game's
you're just
code
like,
to just find it.
Yeah, you're just like, how do people find this shit? It's like who thought to do that? I like to think someone had to have done it by accident. Like odds are someone out there just like played Link's Awakening, killed 8 Octoroks, and then like accidentally walked the wrong way into the doghouse, and they were like, what the fuck is going on? Because it's not hard to do. It is not hard to clip into the doghouse like that. You just go in like from behind straight down and you just clip into the load zone. It's so
What if they keep that glitch in the remake?
There's no way, dude. It's not a Game Boy game.
I know.
I want to make a game with shit like that on purpose because I just find it fascinating, especially like
by the way,
Pokemon Red and Blue. How you just beat the game in 0 minutes just by like corrupting some memory with like your nicknames or something like that.
Yeah.
And like Crystal with like the PC boxes.
I cannot believe that people that people say speedrunning requires like no skill or like people cheat. Like it
requires like a lot of research. I can't believe that. It's like, how do you see this shit and not be like, wow, that looks cool?
Like, have you seen a Portal speedrun?
Yes.
Portal 1 speedruns are like the most insane thing on the fucking planet.
I'm so glad you said that. I played both games recently, and my first thought was, okay, let's look up a speedrun, and they're just like out of bounds, shooting portals all over the place, like frame perfect. They just go through both. Shit. It's so nuts.
No, you have to fucking move your mouse so quickly. I'm shocked no one has like reportedly broken their wrist doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, just like carpal tunnel.
Or repetitive strain injury, something like that.
They probably got some titty mouse pads or something for their wrist, like Chell or some shit like that.
A GLaDOS titty mouse pad.
It's GLaDOS, and there's 2 like cores for the pads. That'd be great. Someone draw that. If you're an artist and you know, or if you know someone who's an artist who does like mouse pads, commission them to do that.
Yes.
Have it be like Chell, and she's holding like Wheatley and like the Space Core or something, and then those are the pads.
I have a better idea. For the main mouse pad part, it's GLaDOS, and for like the wrist part, it's potatoes.
Oh God. I'm a potato.
Oh, hi. So, how are you holding up?
She's literally dying the whole time. It's so funny. What if Chell just like took a bite?
Oh my God. Of a raw potato?
Yeah. You know something? You know that in that escape sequence in Portal 2 when you're like climbing out, you know that like science fair area?
Yeah.
Did you notice one of the science fair projects was Chell's?
It was a potato battery by Chell. That was really cool.
And hers was the one that like grew into a tree.
Yeah. Just fucking protagonist to anime bullshit.
I didn't even notice. My friend was like, zoom in on the one with the big tree. I was like, what? And I looked at the corner. I was like, holy shit. I didn't even know she was... spoilers, by the way, for Portal 2, which is like a 7-year-old game by now, right?
I think it's older than 7 years. Let me check. I think that...
2012, right? Because Portal 1 was like 2009.
I think it's 2011.
Was
Portal 2
it?
is 2011. So
I mean,
it's
I didn't play it until recently. I knew the ending, but I didn't know like the lore leading
Yeah.
up to it or whatever. I just vaguely knew that you had to shoot a portal at the moon, and that was it. That's all I knew. All I knew about Portal 1 was the cake is a lie, haha.
Yeah. You know what's really funny? I remember I played Portal 2 first, but I've never beaten it, admittedly.
We should play it.
And the first time...
We need just a huge Google Doc of like all the games we want to Let's Play.
Yeah, I think we should do that. And also, fucking the first time I beat Portal 1, it wasn't even my copy. It was my friend's Xbox 360 copy of the orange box that I got for him for his birthday.
I have it on Steam, but I played it on my friend's PS3. So I'm only used to like the controller controls. Yeah, I'm not used to the mouse and keyboard controls.
Yeah,
although it seems better for speedrunning because you can like back hop and like build up a shit ton of speed.
I pretty much played through all of Portal 1 in one session.
It's really easy to do, even casually. You can beat it in like an hour or two, really. That's what I did.
I also played it with the developer commentary.
Yeah,
because
that's fun.
I like hearing what they have to say about their work.
I'm Gabe Newell, and if you like this game, you can email me at gaben@valvesoftware.com. You know, in Portal 2, he says he says it like really differently because I think he was aware of the meme at the time. He was like,
Gaben?
Yeah, he was like, gaben@valvesoftware.com. That's GABEN@valvesoftware.com. And I was like, oh, he didn't say Gaben.
And if you message me about your favorite game, I will make sure a shitty fan game gets published on Steam. Do you remember Hunt Down the Freeman?
Hey, no Pyrocynical was in it. That's about all I know.
Yeah, you want to know who else was in it? Fucking Colossal was crazy, I think.
Was Keemstar in it?
Keemstar was in it, playing the President of the United States.
That's some Metal Gear shit.
Yeah.
That's literally like that's so funny for some reason.
And what's even better was that Zero Punctuation reviewed it, and he had no clue. Just like he's talked about the microphone quality was inconsistent, like with most fan game projects. Yeah. And I was just like, oh god, if only you knew it was a bunch of actual fucking YouTubers.
Yeah.
And what's even better was I had everything talked about it. The character that he played was Asian, and he has his fucking British accent.
Like honestly, I don't see much wrong with that because you know like. Not every Asian person has to have an Asian accent or vice versa, because like everyone has different upbringings.
No, the thing is though, he was like his character was like born in like an actual Asian region.
I totally get that. I not to get too controversial, but I don't get why people complain about like white people voicing like characters who are of color. Like if they have the voice the creator wants for the character, they're gonna hire them. Like, they don't hire people for their race. Yeah, it's Lamar Philip or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's also Hermes in Futurama, and Hermes is like Jamaican. He's also fucking who else did he voice?
Oh no, wait.
I keep thinking Fred Burger, but that's not it. Oh, he voiced Bulby in Jimmy Neutron.
Oh my god.
The same guy who did Samurai Jack and Hermes. He has such a good range. Yeah.
Phil Lamar, that's
I think that was right. I think I was right.
Mm-hmm. I googled him.
He also did Ozzy in Ozzy and Drix, the Osmosis Jones cartoon.
Oh my god. I remember watching Osmosis Jones cartoon. I only watched it in the movie.
I knew vaguely of it. I remember we watched the movie in health class in 8th grade.
Yeah, same. I watched
Bill Murray.
The thing is, I watched it in health class freshman year. We also watched that fucking Super Size Me documentary because you know that.
Yeah, I remember
right?
that. Yeah, it's total bullshit. The results are all fudged.
I don't know why they still show it in school.
I don't know either. My dad still is like, oh, do you remember the movie? It's all real. He's a guy and he made a movie, so it has to be real. Like Dad,
the thing is though, I agree
if you do any research,
you probably shouldn't like eat McDonald's every day.
Of course not, but that's not the moral of the story.
Yeah, it's just like there was some guy who made like a documentary in response and showed that he actually did lose weight while properly exercising.
It was for money.
Only McDonald's.
It was all for money, and like remember did you ever see the new season of Beavis and Butthead? I say new, but it came out when I was in 8th grade of middle school. And there was an episode where, oh my god, we have to watch Beavis and Butthead. There was an episode in the last season where they watch Super Size Me, and they see like Morgan Spurlock with like these girls, and Butthead is like, dude, if we eat McDonald's for a month, we'll just be rolling in chicks. Or they don't say McDonald's, they just say like fast food, because they work at like a fast food joint. They're like, if we eat fast food for a month, we'll just be rolling in chicks. So they eat burgers and fries and like nothing else for the whole episode, and you see them like progressively getting unhealthier, and then like by the end they're just like super fat and like greasy, and they're like, where's the chicks? It's so funny. I've never seen old Beavis and Butthead. Like I've seen like clips and moments from like old episodes, but like the only season, like full season I've ever seen was the new one that aired when I was in middle school, because obviously I'm too young to have watched that show as it was coming out. And I've seen Beavis and Butthead Do America. That movie is glorious.
You know, Roger Ebert really liked it.
Who?
Roger Ebert, like famous film critic. He was on a TV show with him and George Siskel. They were like the most mainstream movie critics at their time, and they were
That's
like
cool.
They're like the most well known. And what's really funny? They were reviewing this other movie. It's like big drama that had all these famous actors in it, and I'm just quoting Doug Walker here, and yeah, I'm not joking, but like they said it was boring and it was just a fucking cheap Oscar grab. But when they reviewed Beavis and Butthead Do America, they recommended it. They liked it. They gave it a modest recommendation.
That's the thing with comedy movies. It's just like a lot easier to seem like more genuine. Because like when you watch like a drama movie, you can usually tell if like the writer actually cared about the characters by like how they act and like how they talk and like just the movie itself.
It was also one of those based off of a true story dramas.
Yeah, those are so corny because they always fudge the truth. It's like, oh, we can change this if it makes the plot convenient. But it's like comedy movies are just like a lot more genuine usually. Like people talk about like those Seth Rogen movies just being like completely disingenuous, and it's just like Seth Rogen and James Franco making a movie because they can. You know, but like when you see a good comedy movie, it like really shows. Like Airplane. You've seen Airplane, right?
Airplane.
Hello? Airplane?
I've not seen Airplane.
You have not seen Airplane. Dude, we're fixing that. When I come home, we're watching Airplane.
Trust me, I haven't seen a lot of like the famous parody movies. The only one I've seen was Blazing Saddles.
That one's good. I haven't watched that since I was in like 5th grade. My dad let me watch it or something. It's funny though. It's got Gene Wilder and he's funny.
My favorite scene of it was like when they like had the people dressed up as Klan members, and they grabbed and they had the black sheriff. They're like, we found a black guy, and the black sheriff says like in a over like fucking like stereotypical like black voice, where the white woman at?
Jesus.
It's such a fucked up movie, but it's really good.
Yeah, we gotta watch Airplane though. It's got such a good like sense of humor. Like you can just tell.
I need to watch.
You can just tell they had fun. We can watch it. It's on Prime.
I need to watch Robin Hood Men in Tights, Young Frankenstein. I've missed out on a lot of them.
The Naked Gun movies are really good. I've been watching them with my friend. It stars the guy who plays Shirley in Airplane, if you know that line. I am serious, and don't call me Shirley. It stars him. His real name is Leslie, by the way, so he does have like a feminine name. So that joke is really so they probably did that on purpose, knowing that he had like a name like that. It's like, don't call me Shirley. But in Naked Gun, it's like a parody of like cop movies, and it actually has O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, I know.
I think we talked about that he was a movie star, and I wanted to mention Naked Gun last time, but I couldn't. But it's so fun. Like he's just
a story.
What? Oh no. I was going to talk about the Naked Gun movies because I was watching them with my friend. I've yet to watch 3, but we watched Naked Gun 1 and 2, and it has like the same like absurd sense of humor. It's just like funny for the sake of being funny. It's just good. Like you can tell they had fun writing it. Yeah. You could tell like every step of the way they were doing their best to like make it a good funny movie. Like there's a scene in the first one in like the very beginning where like OJ gets like shot on a boat and he like falls into everything like Tom and Jerry style. Like I love like slapstick shit like that in real life. Like he like stumbles into a wedding cake and then he like falls backwards and like puts his hand on a nail or so. It's so fucked up. And then like later they come back to the dock where the boat is, and you know how at like crime scenes there'll be like tape outlines around where the body was. They pan over to the water and there's just like a tape outline like floating on the water in the waves. It's so funny.
That's awesome.
It's just ridiculous. That's just like the only example I can really remember, but it's just so good. It's really funny. And I'll update when I watch Naked Gun 3 how I feel about it. But both movies so far have been really good. The first two, and it's just a good time. Apparently there was an Airplane 2, which I've yet to see, which I don't know if it was actually good or if it was just like a cash grab. It doesn't seem like something they do, but I just heard it's like not as good. My favorite scene in Airplane is it's a pretty obscure one, but you know how they get like celebrities and shit to like act in movies, like OJ obviously. Yeah. But in Airplane, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the basketball player, he's the co-pilot, and this kid like comes up to the front, and the stewardess is like, "Oh, little Timmy here wanted to check out the cockpit. I was wondering if you'd like show him what it's like." And he's like, "Oh, of course." And then he looks at the co-pilot after talking to the pilot for a bit. He's like, "Hey, aren't you Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?" And he's like, "Nah, kid, you got me mixed up with someone else. I'm just the co-pilot." And he's like, "No, my dad talks about you all the time. He really says you could be doing better in the season though." And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, kid." He's like, "Yeah, he says you've been slacking a lot." And he's like, "Listen, kid, your dad doesn't know what it's like." He breaks character basically. It's so funny. And then the kid, he just basically like rants at the kid, and then the kid like kind of like looks away like awkwardly. He's like, "Ooh." Uh-oh. And then later on, do you know like the general plot of like the movie? I don't want to sit here just like explaining every joke.
Don't know.
But like
I don't know much about it.
The pilot and the co-pilot pass out basically because the fish was bad, and they both ate the fish. Which I don't know if my friend told me that the pilot and the co-pilot aren't allowed to have the same dinner because that can happen. And I was like, Is this movie? Like, do they have that rule because of this movie? Like, I've yet to look into it, but that's because I haven't thought about it since then. But, like, that's hilarious if that's the case. If that actually, like, created that rule. Because, like, they don't really do it in a parody way. They just have him, like, look at the fish and be like, "Oh, no," you know? Like it actually was just bad. And I was like, yeah, this doesn't really seem like a joke. It just seems like that's what happened. Because, like, it's funny for that to happen in the movie. And then, like, as he's explaining the symptoms of, like, the sickness from the fish, the doctor guy, Leslie, he is, like, experiencing them, and then he passes out. And then later on, the co-pilot passes out, and he's on the floor, and he's literally wearing his basketball shorts. So you're just like, oh, that's why the kid was like, okay. It's just so ridiculous. It was such a good callback. But yeah, I'll stop like explaining Airplane now. I just think it's really fun, just that type of humor, and just like how it's impacted me, and like just people in my like us obviously, and like our generation. My dad loves those movies, but every time I make an absurd joke like that, he's like, "What the hell? Like, come on now."
Come on, that's not funny.
Yeah.
It comes out of the fucking basketball player. It's funny.
Yeah, that a joke I made was actually like semi-related to that. I don't want to tell another story because I've been talking a lot. I've been talking a lot, but like
hogging the spotlight.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm just kidding.
But I made a joke about like him becoming a basketball coach, and he was like, "Do you know how much hard work that would take?" Yeah, I think I told you. Was that on the podcast, or did I just tell you about that in person?
I think it was on the podcast.
I don't remember. I'm gonna look stupid if it was.
Podcast or on the bus.
Yeah, probably. No, this was like this year.
Oh, okay.
This was like on our vacation this summer, like 2 months ago.
Okay, then we're probably on the podcast.
Mm-hmm. Or when I was like home for the month. I don't remember, but I might have talked about it. Mm-hmm. And he was like, "Do you know how much hard work that would take?" Yeah, I feel like I remember talking about it. So yeah, it was just ridiculous. I'm like, "Dad, come on. Don't be such a hypocrite."
Mm-hmm.
Claims to like funny movies, dies anyway.
Okay. Oh man, there's a game I have that I wanna. So there's this guy. His name is Voltar. He mostly does like video mods for consoles, and recently he started offering this service. And what it does is you send in your Famicom or Super Famicom game. He dumps the ROM off of the cartridge, and then he opens it up, lifts up one of the pins on the actual ROM chip, so it like is no longer like the actual functioning chip with the game data on it. Then he adds in his own little circuit board that he patches the ROM, and then he puts it on this little chip that goes on the circuit board. He solders it into the cartridge, and then he puts it back on, and then voila, you're playing it you're playing an English patch of a Japanese game on cartridge.
Damn.
on a real cartridge, and I have a copy of Final Fantasy V that I got, and I'm thinking about about sending it in and having it happen.
That sounds dope. I wish there was a good, like, easy setup. You know how, have you ever seen those, like, Mario speedruns where it's, like, Mario 1, 2, 3, and world at the same time, where it's, like, a task? I wish there was a better, like, more reliable setup for doing that. Or you've seen the, like, red and yellow speedrun, right? Where he plays at the same time, like, both games. And, like, yellow is always, like, lagging behind. But the way he did it was, like, with the Wavebird GameCube controller and, like, 2 TVs and, like, 2 GameCubes, and he was like, don't get into running this until you like emulate it and practice it, because it's not worth the money investment if you're just gonna like give it up. I'm like, yeah, that's what I don't like. Like if we do our hypothetical Pokemon versus thing, like we're gonna have to work out like a setup where both of us could like play on the TV and obviously capture both of our games, probably separately. Like we'll probably have 2 files, like one for like Ruby, one for Sapphire, and we'll just like label them as such, and then you could just like stick them in the overlay. But for the PvP battles, I still don't know how we're gonna do that.
I have a link cable. I have a functioning link cable.
Oh, so we just are we gonna be able to capture that though?
Yeah, I have HDMI out on my GameCube. I can just link it up. You can be playing on. We could just not screen peek, and we could.
I was gonna say, yeah, I don't know how we're gonna do that. Just get like a big piece of cardboard and like stick it in the middle and like sit up close to it so we can't see across. Or if we do, we could always just like capture it from the TV and like cover the TV with like a piece of cardboard or something and just look at our own respective like screens.
Yeah.
For like the battles, so it'll still be capturing, but we won't be screen peeking. So people will be able to see us both like selecting our moves and be like, oh no.
Oh no.
That's what I think is cool. You know when like Chugga Conroy did like the battles against his friends or whatever?
Yeah.
I like that he had like his perspective, but I think it's kind of cool like seeing the opposite persons at the same time, which is why I think this is going to be fun. By the way, I did kind of drop that out of nowhere, but we are planning a sort of like Pokemon versus series.
Yeah.
We're just like sorting out the rules and like getting our bearings for when I come home to record so that we can just start and get at it.
I can't believe I cameoed in the Yoshi versus Chugga Conroy battle video.
You did?
Yeah, like they mentioned when Yoshi was giving the backstory, he said like that him and Emil would be like teasing them potentially battling, and he pulled up my tweet, like
is that your old
tweeting that,
your old account?
Yeah, my old Twitter account, and like it's one of my old profile pictures. But yeah, it was screen grabbed, and Chugga responded saying maybe, and it was pretty neat. I was in the video. I'm on 2 videos on Yoshi's channel.
I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, you met him at Evo, right?
Yeah, I met him at Evo. I
cool.
saw him again. I saw him again this year. It was only when I was waiting in line though.
Oh dang. Did you meet? You took a selfie with Zero, right?
Yeah.
That's great. I wish I could have met him so I could have him say something funny.
I wish I fucking would have able to meet Shofu. Damn. That would have been the best part.
Dude, just like prepare a rap verse for next year and then just give it to him and be like, put me on the next cypher.
No.
Yeah, just okay, no, I know, but like just the thought of you like walking up to Shofu, just like freestyle rapping. Yeah.
And the thing is though, when I was talking to Roger and I was like, I really want to meet Shofu, he told me like a word of warning about Shofu. He's kind of cold whenever he meets new people, so like don't take it personally. So like, could you imagine my dumbass walking up doing that?
No, just like I think he would respect the confidence to a degree. He'd be like, it takes a lot.
My ass on the spot.
Oh, obviously, but it still takes a lot of like confidence to just walk up to someone and start like expressing yourself like that, like saying like obviously you're kind of imposing by someone by like forcing them to, but it still takes a lot of courage to just like come up and do that.
The thing is, though,
like
courage and stupidity are cousins.
If you did it like super ironically and just had like a shitty costume and like purposefully wrote like an awful rap, and then just was like super confident about it, like I would back you up. Like I would stand in the background with like a boombox or something, just like hyping you up. That'd be hilarious.
I had a funny idea for like a future, like a potential thing to cosplay when I go to a convention. It's just I make like a giant like thing that I slip into. It's a giant deodorant thing.
Oh god.
I just walk around. And like I have like like a whole bag of like dollar deodorant and just like giving it out to people.
Like those travel sized deodorant sticks
Yeah.
or whatever that they give you in like 5th grade when they teach you about sex ed. They're like, you may start to stink now, so here's some deodorant. It's like great.
But yeah, I just walk up and give people travel size deodorant at conventions. Like, here you go.
Great. Or just like bars of soap, like hotel
Yeah.
bars of soap in those little boxes.
Just steal hotel bars of soap.
Yeah, just go to like every room. No, you could probably buy a huge box of them for like super cheap.
Yeah, they probably sell them
Yeah,
on like
you could on like Amazon or something. You could probably get like like a wholesale box of like travel soap of like 50 for like $20 or something easily.
Yeah.
Just give them out. That'd be pretty cool.
I already know what we should name this podcast.
What?
Episode? Haha, stinky.
Dude, that's not gonna be it.
Aw, damn.
We never come up with like I always like record it and then we're like, okay, see you next time, and then I'm like, what do we name that episode? Like it kind of just feels like we're talking, which is good, but like I don't know.
I mean, that's just how a podcast is.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. One thing I wanted to come back to, which is also like another thing I wanted to talk about on the last episode, was like the death of like spin-off games, if you know what I
Yeah.
mean. Like there hasn't been a good like main series. Like I don't know if I want to say there hasn't lately, because there could be something that just flew under my radar, but like as far as like series that have been like ongoing, like we talk about this a lot with like Pokemon. I always mention like Mystery Dungeon, or like I talked about like Conquest, I think, on the last one, and
Yeah.
how much I love that. And there was like
how
Ranger.
much I've never
Yeah, we talked
played
about
it.
Ranger for sure. And I'm just like, man, you don't really see a lot of like spin-off games anymore, especially like
Yeah.
Mario. Like I don't know, Mario Maker 2 is technically a spin-off, I guess. I don't
You know what should exist? A Sonic RPG that's actually good.
There's a Sonic RPG. Oh yeah,
I
and
remember I was
like
telling you Sonic Chronicles.
yeah. Oh yeah, you wanted me to play that, right?
No, I wanted to. I wanted to play it, and I just wanted you to see how bad it is.
Okay, that'll be fun.
Yeah. Just
oh,
don't
yeah.
look up anything about it.
I won't.
already
I
own
won't.
it.
Trust me. I always forget anyway. I already forget
Yeah.
the name of it. Okay, no, never mind. Sonic Chronicles. Okay, what if it was just called Sonicals?
That'd be pretty epic.
Oh yeah, another thing was like the Mario and Luigi games, as well as like Paper Mario. I wouldn't say Paper Mario's like dead, but obviously it's not in a state where like most of the fans are happy with it.
Yeah.
It's the whole remaster Thousand Year Door thing already.
Yeah.
And-
God bless you, Arlo.
Yeah, and like Metroid, because there was Prime Hunters or whatever, or the one
Yeah.
on the 3DS, Federation Force. That's it. People didn't
Yeah.
like that.
And then,
And then
Samus
Blast Ball.
Returns.
Samus Returns was a main series game. It was just a remake
Yeah,
of
I
Metroid
was-
2.
Yeah, I thought I got kind of confused.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Well, I mean, Metroid is not really a series that like I think really can function well with spin-offs. Because
Yeah.
like, what can they really do?
With what? Oh, like Metroid.
With-
yeah.
yeah.
I legitimately think Federation Force would be a good game if it hadn't came out when it did.
Yeah,
Because people were just like, we want Metroid, give us
so-
Metroid, and they're like, here you go. It's like, no.
Okay, so you mean it's a good game? It was just poorly timed.
Yeah, I think Arlo talked about that too, where he was like underrated 3DS games. And he was
Yeah.
like, listen, this game was just critically panned because people were mad. And like, understandably so. Because most people were just like, no, I don't like it because it's not what I want. Not, I don't like it because it's a bad game, which I don't even know if it is or not. But it looks fun. It looks like a fun, like, it looks like a Four Swords sort of thing. Speaking of which, Triforce Heroes was like really good. I love that game. And I think that would go perfectly on Switch.
Yeah,
Like, especially with the Joy-Cons, because you could do like 2 people locally and then like another pair of people online or something. That would be really fun. And that would be an easier way. Or you could just like go by yourself and be matched up with like 3 random people or something like that. That would be so fun. And I think that would work so well. I 100% Triforce Heroes before that big update came out with like the new outfits and the new dungeon, and I just never played it since, which like I feel bad, but I don't really have people to play with anymore, so it's like whatever.
yeah,
That was at a time where like other people with 3DSs like in high school were a lot more accessible, where like everyone was playing like Smash. That's part of why I played Smash so much with like other people. It's just like, oh, we all brought our 3DSs to lunch, like let's play after we're done eating. It's just easy. In college, it's just like you kind of bring it yourself, and I'm just like, I'm playing by myself. Cool.
Yeah,
In my first summer class, I saw a kid playing Cuphead on our break, and I was like, "Good on you, lad."
that's nice. That's good.
Yeah, dude, I'm so excited for the new shit.
I am too. That DLC, that's gonna be some fucking. Mwah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be amazing.
I had no hangups of buying it again on Switch because I'm just like, it's such a good game. Even though I never finished it like initially, it was just a good excuse for me to like finally buckle
Actually
down
play
and
it.
finish it and like stick it
I
through to
am
the end.
heavily considering. I'm heavily considering getting it.
Dude, I could just bring mine over and we could play co-op or something.
Yeah, but I'm just mostly
Oh,
because
yeah,
I want to play the DLC.
I totally get you. Just support the Moldenhauer Bros.
Yeah,
fucking
because they're
mortgage
they're
their
good people.
house to make that game.
Yeah, fucking, they're crazy.
How long did it take them to make that game? Like 5 years?
Longer. They initially came up with a concept for it in like 2010.
Yeah, my guess is that they like started in 2011 and then it like finally
Yeah.
came out in 2016. No, 2017. It was like
Yeah.
mid 2017, right? Like around the same time as like Mario Odyssey. Right. So yeah,
I
like
have-
5-6 years or something easily.
I have so much respect for them.
Yeah,
I
same.
am like, you know what's really funny? Apparently, like they had they always wanted to do a game in that style because no one else really did.
Oh yeah,
Or if they did try it, they
it's
didn't do
definitely
it well.
a one of a kind game. Like
And
I don't think
they,
we'll
they said, oh sorry.
I don't think we'll ever see a game like that again, just because it takes so much
Yeah.
work and dedication and actual care. I feel like we talked about this already, but like
Mm-hmm.
Cuphead could have been a shitty game, but it
Yeah.
looks amazing and it plays amazing, which is just like a blessing. Like they really took
Mm-hmm.
their time, like making sure it was like fun and challenging, and
Yeah.
it's just great. Like I don't think we'll ever see another game like it. Go on,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, that's all I wanted to get out.
For me, I think they said that like they always had the they always just came back to the idea of the 30s animated style game.
Yeah, like
And they
rubber hose.
Yeah, they always try to come up with other ideas, but none of them really ever went anywhere, and they always just kind of fell back on that.
Like an
And then-
RPG. Dude, an RPG in Cuphead style would actually be so cool.
Oh god, but that's like 40 plus hours
I know,
though.
but
That's-
you could get away with reusing a lot of like animations, like the idle animations and
Yeah.
stuff, just like in general. It's one of those games where it's like now that they have the engine, like making the DLC, because like I feel like half of that game was just making the engine and making sure it worked.
Well, they worked in the Unity engine.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
what you mean is like, getting the
Just
animations.
like
on the
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, totally. And then like half of it was just putting the game together, like because you could easily make the game with just like normal sprites and like
Yeah.
normal art, and then but just like drawing all that shit like by hand or like getting it drawn and then animated and then like putting it all together. Like it's a wonder. Like it's no wonder that like nobody does hand drawn animation anymore because it takes fucking forever.
I mean,
But
with
it's
the Cuphead
always so good.
cartoon,
Oh yeah,
with
true.
the Cuphead cartoon, it's going to be done in Flash, but it's not going to be fucking like puppets. It's
Yeah,
actually going to
yeah.
be like individual frames.
That's
which
good.
is nice.
Yeah, like the software you use doesn't necessarily make it bad. Like you can use
Yeah.
Flash. I think we talked about this again with like My Little Pony, where like
Mm-hmm.
it's made in Flash, but it doesn't look like soulless. Like it looks animated.
Like,
it's
fucking
passable
Fred-
for what it is. It's not like renowned for
we-
its animation, but it's passable for what
Yeah.
it is. Meanwhile, you have
I
like
think we.
the new Fairly
talked
Odd
about-
Parents. Sorry,
Yeah,
we keep
that's-
talking.
that's
The
what I
new
was about
Fairly
to
Odd
say.
Parents,
We
which
mentioned
is
that
just like
actual puppet.
yeah, like literally like something a child would make with like push
Mm-hmm.
pins and cutouts of paper and like swinging the arms around or whatever. Mm-hmm. That reminds me of like Super Paper Mario with Bowser's arms, how his arms would like spin around.
Yeah.
That makes me think it's like held together with like a push pin or something and it's just being like spun around. Dude,
Mm-hmm.
imagine like a Paper Mario game, but it's with like cutout like paper aesthetic. Like
mean, like,
construction paper or
Color
something like
Splash?
that. That'd be cool. No, like Color Splash is like diorama though.
Mixed
It's
media.
like yeah, it's like Yoshi's Crafted World, where like Woolly World everything was like yarn, but Crafted World
Yeah.
is like everything.
Okay, so you
like
mean
Kirby's
just
Epic
keeping
Yarn.
the one full visual aesthetic the whole time? I think that'd be neat.
Yeah, it'd probably be better for like a 2D game, honestly, because like when you think paper, you don't necessarily think it has like depth, and that'd be kind of hard to
Yeah.
do with like a flat looking art style. But, like it could certainly be done. But yeah, and same thing with like Unity. Like Yooka-Laylee was made in Unity, and that game is kind of eh. I've heard a lot of mixed things. Like it's one of those things where it's like Banjo-Kazooie fans love it and Banjo-Kazooie fans hate it. Like you can't generalize like that, you know. But it's one of those things where it's
Yeah.
like fans of the series, like the originals, are divided. Because I remember like
let me
Gerard was like, I love this game. It's amazing. It's true the original. And Donkey is like, this game fucking sucks. Just play the original.
Yeah, you know what's even better? Another two YouTubers I watch also have kind of a split opinion. YouTuber I watch, Derek Alexander, also known as Stop Skeletons from Fighting, formerly the Happy Video Game Nerd. He made a video called "Why Ukulele Was a Failure in Every Way."
Oh boy,
and
that's a great clickbait title. Honestly, that's a great clickbait title because people are going to be like, I mean, it's exactly what it says. That's what clickbait is. That's what clickbait should be. It should be like. Just something that makes you want, like something that makes you just want to click on it and be like,
how easily can you get every gold symbol in Pokemon Emerald's Battle Frontier in all caps? That's clickbait, but also it's honest.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, it's exactly what it is. It's like a walkthrough.
But
or it's a guide. Hopefully it is, and it's not just like a guy who already has it. I was looking up how to unlock Gungeon characters, and the video, it was literally just like a 2.5 hour stream, and it's just like also unlocking the character. I'm like, great, don't timestamp the part where you actually get the character or how to do it or anything like that.
Another YouTuber I watch, Gilly the Kid, he hasn't made a video about it, but he said like publicly he really does love ukulele, and he's like he disagrees with a lot of people's criticisms. So like yeah, it's really funny how split this game is. It's like crazy. Down the middle.
Did you see the new one they're making, which is basically just Donkey Kong Country?
Oh man.
With like an overworld or something. And some people are shitting on them just for doing a different genre, because it's like, wow, you can't even make like another.
That's dumb.
Yeah, but it's kind of understandable because they're like, oh, so now you're just making a Donkey Kong Country game. Didn't they say they don't like the term spiritual successor at Playtronic or whatever?
That kind of doesn't make sense. Like, why they're the one here trying to make a game that's like the game that we like from before. That I know, yeah.
That's literally what they founded their company on.
Yeah.
But I feel like I think it's because people are split on like how well the games are actually made. Like I wouldn't want to be like spiritual successor to this game from the like if I made like a Star Tropics or whatever game, like some obscure game. But if it just fucking sucked, like naturally everyone would be upset with me because you're like, oh, you're trying to like bait people into like supporting your game by saying it's like the old game that people already like, and then it just sucks.
I heard about this Kickstarter fiasco that's going on. There was this dev team that set up a Kickstarter to remake the first System Shock game, which is this old PC RPG.
That sounds like a legal nightmare.
Well, the thing, no, they got the rights to it. They paid for the rights because that copyright's been dead for years.
Oh, fair enough.
That's besides the point.
Fair enough. Okay.
Because System Shock 2, which was like, that game came out in like 1999. So like. It's an old dead franchise, so like it's well remembered and it inspired a lot of things. But like it was very easy to get the rights to it. But what happened was after they went well past their budget, instead of trying to make it like an actual remake, because there's different types of remakes. They wanted to make one that was extremely faithful to the original, but also like fix some of its problems. And then they started to slowly kind of move it away from a remake and more so make it a reimagining. Like the whole point of System Shock is that you are on this abandoned spaceship. Everyone is dead, and like you have to figure out why. So it's like blood and all these weird monsters everywhere.
That sounds like Obra Dinn. That like pirate ship mystery game where you like go around and like find out how people died. It's like a mystery game.
But basically, like almost all of the environments, their whole point is that they're supposed to look like blood-stained and like gross because it's a fucking abandoned ship with dead mutant people on it. And a lot of their 3D renders, like a while after they got the money and also made a playable demo that the people who backed it liked.
That's far. That's like PT levels of far.
Like they said they're moving from Unity to Unreal, which they're like people are like, all right, that's fine, that's good.
Yeah, just
better
change
engine.
the entire engine.
And then they started processing more 3D renders, and then a lot of these areas started to look a lot more clean and a lot less like fucked up looking. And people like, that's not what it looked like before.
Yeah, that's what I like about like older art styles. It's just like your brain can like fill in the gaps, you know. Or it's just like it doesn't have to be like super detailed or something like that to get the point across.
But yeah, then people started to people started to get really upset because they're starting to change too much.
Yeah.
And then they started showing more of like the Unreal demo, and it was a lot less good than the Unity demo was.
Yeah.
And like
that's the thing with remakes is like,
yeah.
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And
like a lot
it
of
just
remakes
started
make
to
arbitrary
it just spiraled out of control. Basically, they're working on it now, and they're streaming the game's development. And then I'm guessing that it's because they want live feedback so they don't fuck up again.
Apparently, Fortnite is in the Unreal Engine, which I was just like, really?
Yeah, because Epic Games. I think Epic Games made the Unreal Engine.
I didn't know that at all. Someone was like, yeah, of course they would use their engine. I was like, what?
I think all the Gears of War games were made in Unreal as well.
It's a surprisingly like cartoony game to be using Unreal Engine. Like it does it well for like the grass and stuff and like the trees, but like they definitely put it to good use, because you know all those like videos where it's like, I made Ocarina of Time in Unreal Engine, and it's like, wow, why can't the regular Zelda games look like this? It's like, because it's stupid.
Yeah, I never got that.
Like, something being overly detailed and realistic doesn't mean it looks good. Like, Breath of the Wild kind of rides that line very nice, where it's like you have these, like, nice-looking, like, fields and, like, buildings and temples, and then you find these cartoony shrines that look, like, mythical and unreal, like, very sci-fi.
And the very stylized people.
Yeah, for sure. And like, even on, like, the inside of, like, the Divine Beast, it's all, like, foreign and, like, mythical or whatever. I don't know the right word for it, but it's very, like...
weird looking,
but it's stylized and it's like consistent to a point where it's like,
yeah,
it doesn't really suspend, like, I don't know if the right way of phrase it really, like, it doesn't make you feel like it stands out too much, because it's still Zelda at the end of the day, but it's also just, oh, this big open, like, Hyrule, like, this is what it would look like if there was a big open Hyrule field, and not like Ocarina of Time, where, like, Ocarina of Time, like, Hyrule Field is, like, neat, but it was more just to, like, show off what the N64 could do. Because it's like, wow, look at this, like, huge area that you can just, like, roll around in. And that was basically the whole point of it.
Look at this whole area you can roll and side jump through. It's epic.
Basically, yeah. Or speedrunners can just back run through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Or just not go to it at all if you're doing any percent. And just... See, that's another game where it's just like, how do they find this shit? Have you seen, like, the any percent Ocarina of Time speedrun?
I have seen stuff from that.
I vaguely remember it, but I know they beat the game in like 17 minutes or something. They go to like Deku Tree and then they like wrong warp to the final boss as Child Link. I just love shit like that. Have you heard of the Breath of the Wild 100% speedrun?
Oh my god, those two things are that's an oxymoron.
Yeah, I think only 5 people in the world have ever completed a run, and one of them was like a streamer I discovered recently, which I haven't really watched his streams, but I found like his YouTube channel that's full of like highlights and stuff, and I've just kind of been like listening to them. He mostly speedruns Mario Odyssey, and he does like meme categories and challenge runs and stuff, and I mostly just listen to him while I play Enter the Gungeon, and there'll be like 45-minute episodes and then, or like videos, and then I'll finish, and I'm like, wow, it's been 40 minutes, and I'll be like one floor down on Gungeon.
Let me look
how much
at
I suck.
100% speed runs. Let's see how long
every
it is.
Korok, every shrine, every side quest, I assume.
Let's look at 100%. The current world record is by Specs and Stats. Do you know what it is? Want me to tell you?
What is it, like 20 hours at least?
23 hours, 29 minutes, 14 seconds.
That's literally a whole day.
Yeah.
Like
and you
imagine,
know what 7th place is?
What?
The worst?
Like 100 hours.
68 hours, 49 minutes, 12 seconds.
I mean, hey, it's a free spot on the leaderboard. Like, if you do a run right now, you're guaranteed top 10. That's something.
I complete it.
Yeah. That's just a bragging right in itself. I beat Breath of the Wild 100%.
Is it really a bragging right?
I mean, you have to do it all in one sitting. Or I think they allow for segmented runs, actually, because it's such a long fucking category. You just have to make sure it's, like, consistent, I think.
I think one of them, by Pterotactical, his thing was a no sleeping run.
Oh, boy.
I'm guessing...
Sleeper.
Yeah, I'm guessing some of them. You know those one speedrun that like you cannot improve time on a specific things, specifically because in this game an item takes 2 real life weeks to fucking power up to in a 100% run.
In what game?
So I forget the name of it, but it's
like
a game and
2 real life weeks.
Yes,
Jesus
2
Christ.
real life weeks. So the world record always is like 340 hours just because.
Do they just leave the game on in that time, or like?
Yeah, pretty much.
I was gonna say, like, you could do a lot of multitasking. That'd be like in Majora's Mask if you had to wait like an actual full day for them to forge the sword, like the Razor Sword. Mm-hmm. Imagine Majora's Mask just in like real time.
That would be a lot
horribly
easier.
tedious. I wish there was another game like Majora's Mask, honestly. Like with that time mechanic. Because there are a lot of, like, you remember E3, they showed a lot of those, like, time loop games or whatever, which, like, I find the concept neat, but they haven't really been doing anything with it. But I would love a game where it's, like, I don't know, maybe you could, like, rewind time on the spot in order to get, like, the perfect run, and, like, optimizing the game would come down to, like, rewinding as little as possible.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem, Three Houses kind of has that mechanic where, except it's not, like, obviously it's a turn-based strategy game, but, you can use this thing called, like, the Divine Pulse or something like that. I think that's what it's called from memory. And you press, like, ZL, and you can rewind any number of turns I think you want 3 times per battle. And I think you can level it up. I don't know if it's the more you use it or, like, the higher level your character is, but you get more. So it comes down to, like, optimizing to a point where, like, you don't have to do that, because then if you run out, you're just going to be screwed. So you have to save it for, like, a time that matters, especially if you're doing, like, classic mode where people, like, die, and it's basically, like, a Nuzlocke, which is why I can't handle it, because doing shit like that takes, like, a serious amount of, like, focus and, like, dedication, and, like, I know if someone dies and there's, like, nothing I can do about it, I'll just be demotivated, because I'll be like, well, that's one less person I have, and you're just fucked for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
I think I don't know what happens if everyone dies, though. I don't want to find out. I think you just game over and you have to start over or something like that.
Yeah.
Like
There's a new Minecraft snapshot that I'm guessing you saw.
I heard,
bees.
Yeah. Bees?
And there's honey. You can now drink honey from bottles. There's honeycomb. There's beehives, bee
like
nests.
honeycomb blocks?
Yeah, there's honeycomb blocks and honeycomb
awesome.
items.
Dude, I want to make, like, a giant beehive in Minecraft.
That would be cool.
And just have some areas, and, like, you go to, like, platforms. Have it be, like, its own kind of biome where, like, you go inside and there's, like, bees flying around. I wonder if you could probably summon giant bees, right? Like, with commands.
I don't think you can adjust mob size in vanilla. Man. I think
they should come out with, like, a size mod that lets you, like, make giant bees.
Yeah, that is a thing. It just needs when 1.15 releases. That's probably gonna there needs to be the mod that gets made for it.
The bees in Minecraft remind me of the bees in Hollow Knight. Just the way they, like, fly around, sort of, and just the fact that they're, like, a shape. Because the bees in Hollow Knight are, like, very round to make them, like, easy to hit and, like, pogo off of. And they're, like, the regular flying bee dudes who will, like, charge at you. And then there's, like, the giant fat dudes who will, like, hit into you and do, like, double damage. It's crazy. But that new snapshot made me want to make, like, an area like that in Minecraft, where you just, like, go around certain areas and, like, fight bees or something. Have certain ones be, like, aggro and don't get, like, knocked off, or else you'll, like, fall down. I think that'd be really cool. Yeah. I'd love to just make, like, a giant beehive and have it be, like, a farm, too, or something.
Bees only get mad at you if you hit them or if you break their nest.
Yeah, understandable.
Understandable. Have a good day.
They should add, like, a queen bee or something and have it be, like, a boss.
Yeah.
And she, like, summons bees at you.
That would be really cool.
That would be cool. Or if there was, like, you remember Futurama, how there was that, like, bee planet? They should have, like, a biome where it's just, like, a cave that's a beehive. And you can like go through and get honey, but they'll get, like, mad at you if you try and take too much honey or something like that. Because bees bees don't care if like humans take honey, right? Like, in real life.
No.
It's mutually beneficial, right? Because they don't use the honey, do they? They just kind of make it. So it's mutually beneficial if humans take honey. That's why bees going extinct is such, like, a bad thing, because they make, like, beeswax, and, like, honeycomb is useful for stuff. That's why, like, bee farms are so good.
You know, they also pollinate flowers.
Yeah, obviously. But I just mean, like, bees themselves.
Yeah.
Stuff that they make. I love when someone is like, honey is just bee vomit, and I'm like, okay, if you could shit solid gold, don't act like you wouldn't sell it.
Yeah.
Like, because that shit would be valuable. Pun intended. That shit would be valuable if you could sell, like Roger from Family Guy, or Roger from American. You know what I meant, but like Roger from American Dad, he just crapped like a jewel-studded gold crap, and like everybody was like killing each other over it because it was so valuable. I remember that was like a whole saga in like the episodes. It was really funny. Man, I'm glad American Dad has like still been good to this day, as far as I know.
Does Seth MacFarlane still work on it?
I don't think so. I think that's why it's
Thank
good.
God. You know, Seth MacFarlane made a cameo on Phineas and Ferb.
Really?
Yeah, it was the episode. It was like, I think it was called Battle of the Nerds.
I never watched that episode. I never watched that show.
Doofenshmirtz, he fucking holds this TV producer who's voiced by Seth MacFarlane hostage and tries to pitch him a TV show.
Jesus. I love how the creators of the show know that like most people just like the Doofenshmirtz and Perry stuff, to the point where Doofenshmirtz was like in Milo Murphy's Law. He made like a cameo.
No, he was a main character for a while.
Was he?
Yeah, like what happens is like
there's only one season of that show so far, right?
There's two.
Okay.
And I
didn't know if it was one season just broken up into half, or it was like two seasons with just like short episodes.
There's 2 seasons, and there was a crossover episode.
I watched the first season, and I never continued it after that because I just forgot.
But yeah, like Doofenshmirtz genuinely does. He becomes a main character. He just lives with Milo and his fucking parents. He sleeps on their couch. I know, it's great.
But like they know that people just want like a Doofenshmirtz show, which I feel like is why they did that. But I feel like it also kind of takes away from the show. And that like Milo is good like on its own, you know. It didn't really need that because like I feel like Phineas and Ferb would be kind of like mediocre without the Perry stuff, because like that's what people remember. Like 90% of the memes about Phineas and Ferb are about Doofenshmirtz and Perry.
By the way,
like, I think 10% of them are about the main show. Sorry, go on.
At one point, Dr. Doofenshmirtz had a very short-lived web show.
iCarly.
No, it was an actual YouTube series called Doofenshmirtz Daily Dirt.
Oh, like and it was cartoon short series. That's
except neat. It was not. Except it wasn't. It wasn't fucking daily at all. No. And also, the YouTube channel, even though it's still up and verified, and so is its banner, all of the original videos are deleted.
What?
Yeah, it's so weird. There's archives of it. There's archives of all the episodes, thank God.
That's some sort of like ARG where like they post all their videos and then they all get deleted and then act like it never happened or something like that as like a teaser for something, like a new show or something like that. That'd be funny.
Really, oh God, the thing is though, it's the most boomer shit. Like,
that's not what I was expecting you to say.
He fucking talks. He talks about fucking Gangnam Style, Call Me Maybe.
Memes from like 10 years ago.
The Harlem Shake. I Can Hash Cheeseburger.
What?
Like he fucking talks about only boomer memes.
That's just like modern day cat memes now. Like cat memes are always evolving.
Yeah. He also talks about Vine back when it was like new and like relevant. It was
how old were these episodes? Like they're not recent, are they? They're from like a couple years ago.
Almost all of these were like, well, I can't remember the original upload date. They were deleted, but I remember it was like 2011, like
okay,
2012 at most.
So it wasn't just like he's behind on the memes. It's more like it was a product of its time, but it was already like dated when it came out. It was like, okay, people are gonna look back on these and be like, all right.
There's some that are more recent. There was there was channel. One of them was about Milo Murphy's Law, where Doofenshmirtz interviews on the Disney Channel YouTube channel. So yeah. Where
you cut out again. I'm not going to cut that one out because it was a lot shorter and
on Disney channels on the Disney Channel YouTube channel, where Doofenshmirtz interviews Weird Al, and that was fucking weird. That's a weird thing.
Yeah, I love those things where it's like the voice actors like interacting with their characters.
Yeah,
it's very rare, but it happens pretty often. It happens very rarely, but like when it does, it's like really funny.
There was also on ABC, on the ABC YouTube channel, there was an extra where Doofenshmirtz is on Shark Tank.
Oh God! Oh, I have to see that, dude. Oh my God! I don't know if I've told you.
It's 3 minutes long, and the thing is though, It's not like clips from the show. It's actually
Yeah,
like
I get
it's
what
a
you mean.
flash puppet of him interacting with the millionaires. It's amazing.
Was it imposed into like an existing episode, or did they film that like
No,
specifically
they
for that short?
filmed it.
That's
It was
hilarious.
specifically for the short.
I love that they have like a good sense of humor. Fucking I don't know if you knew, Shark Tank is one of like my guilty pleasure shows. I haven't watched it in so long, but I would like last year when I went home for Thanksgiving, like Shark Tank was on, and I just watched the shit out of it. I was like, this is so like funny. Just like half of these people like trying to like keep themselves like together in the face of like adversity, and they're like, your product sucks, you suck. Why should we give you our money? And they're like, no, listen, like it's useful. Like I love seeing like the cracks, you know, like when they're about to crack, or like they never outright like break. Except I saw one where this girl started crying when all of them started rejecting her because her thing was kind of like her thing was kind of like situational. But sorry, I'll let you tell. But I just love like I love like seeing when someone is like just like put off. I don't know how to describe it. It's so like interesting. Just to see like the facade coming apart almost, you know what I mean? Like they're just like they're like, this is my one shot, like this is my chance to become like a billionaire, and like and just like seeing them actually make the deals is like super interesting. Because there was this guy. Did you hear about like that shirt, that little shirt magnet thing for like your glasses?
So.
The guy who made that, I saw the episode with him where he makes the deal with one of the girls, and he doesn't quite get the deal he sought after, but he still got a good chunk. Like, if you're making like she was like, I will advertise your product on my show and you will make millions. But she wanted a bigger cut. Like, she was taking such a huge advantage of that guy. But it's like, can you really complain at that point? Like, you're still getting like millions of dollars for a little magnet that goes in your shirt. It's like crazy.
It was the QVC lady, because QVC is like the fucking big home shopping.
Yeah, that was it. She was like the shopping lady.
But
it's crazy though.
There was one bit that kind of fucked me up where
I might not have seen it.
There was this the thing is though, I know this is a real product.
Oh yeah.
Basically, it was he didn't get a deal. But basically, what happened was he had this thing where it was like a plastic container and there was a lid on it, and you put in a certain amount of time and the lid locks. So it's meant to like keep you from like, oh, I can't have this. I can't have these Skittles until like a week.
Sort of like a Ben and Jerry's lock or whatever, except it's like timed.
Yeah, and he mostly had the idea for like the thing is though
for like kids
or
guy, something.
Like
that makes sense for like cookie jars.
The guy kind of he the way he presented himself, the way he was talking, the way he acted, he kind of seemed like he was like kind of mentally handicapped.
I see. I thought you were talking about like you were gonna make it seem like he was very obviously like a scumbag and he was trying to like con because that was also another episode I watched where like
where
the guy
some
was
guy
very
offered 100% of the company.
Yeah.
But this guy was very.
Wait, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like the folding what is it? The folding furniture guy.
Yeah.
He was just like, I get 100% and all the money, and they're like, well, what's in it for us? Like, we don't gain anything from that. We're just giving you money. And he's like, yeah. It just seems like he's trying to like be rid himself of all the work. They're like, you basically want all the money and to not have to do any of the work. And they were like, do you have a patent for this? He's like, I have a patent for many things. And he was just like trying to like ham himself up. It was so funny seeing him get rejected. Because they're like good. It's just so funny. I wish there was like a Shark Tank. Where are they now? Like a show like just for that. Because like they do have segments like episodes later where it's like this is how they're doing now after. Because like sometimes they don't get the deal, but they still succeed. Because like you don't need like a huge loan from a millionaire just to make your product take off.
Yeah,
it just helps.
You know, Ring Video Doorbell. That originally was they pitched that. It was from a different company. They didn't get a deal, but now they're like fucking super successful. Awesome. But let me get back on this guy. This guy was like very obviously mentally handicapped and then they started grilling him and he couldn't handle it. He was like about to start crying and then fucking Kevin O'Leary starts insulting him for about to cry.
Is he like the main guy, like the bald guy?
He's the bald guy.
Yeah. That's messed up.
It was kind of fucked. It was so mean.
It's kind of fucked. That's like the Leafy thing on like a grand scale because it's on like public television.
It's on TV and it's actually face to face. It's Kevin O'Leary, famous man his net worth of $400 million.
What was his product?
I forget the name.
Oh, do you know what it was?
You can probably look up. You could probably look up Shark Tank crying.
I'll do it. I'll do it after this. Dude, there's so many. There's so many. There was this one where it was like this mom made this product with like her husband, and like they shot it down, and she started like crying or something. And they're like, the thing about that show is like it's not always like the end of the world if you don't get some big $1 million deal. That show is literally just like, if someone likes your product and they see it succeeding, then it's like stocks. It's like you don't want to put, even if you're a millionaire and you have, you could just got stacks coming out the ass, like you still don't want to waste your money. And it's wise not to be wasteful with your money, even when you're wealthy. But they just don't want to lose out on, it also has to do with like reputation. They don't want to just be seen as someone who will throw their money at anything. They have like, they all have like a reputation to keep up, and they can't just be
they
like,
aren't angel investors. They want something out of it.
Like they're honestly like pretty, it's a pretty bold move to just be on that show anyway, to just be willing to like, you have a chance at earning my millions of dollars. Like even that is just like even putting that opportunity on the table is still like a crazy opportunity. I can't think of another word, but you know what I mean. So did you find the guy's product?
No, I can't find it anywhere. I'm guessing it got taken down by ABC.
Damn. I'm sure we'll find it someday.
It was fucked up just seeing Kevin O'Leary get sold this guy who was very obviously like no, but the thing is though, the way it was just the way that the guy was talking, and like because like with a lisp or something. I don't want to sound like I don't want to generalize.
No, I get what you mean. Like, I get what you mean.
People who are lower functioning, they talk a certain way,
like a speech impediment or something, sort of.
Yeah,
I get what you mean.
I just felt bad for the poor dude.
I don't blame you. One of my favorite bits from Shark Tank was like these guys had like this super high tech like karaoke system.
I know exactly. I was expecting you to say.
That was one of my favorite ones where like they demonstrate it, and they're like, we want 85%. Yeah, it was good. And it was super high tech, and it had like all these modes, and like it auto tuned you so you wouldn't sound like you sucked, and it had like instruments or something. Did it have instruments or something? Yeah. You could add like instrumentals or something.
Like, the thing is, though, if they just were playing their cards right, they could have gotten a deal.
No, it was super solid up until they were like, we want 85%. And everyone was like, whoa, like they just don't know. Like, I love when someone who just doesn't know how the show works, like, comes on the show and they're like, we want 85%. Like, no, that's not how it works. They get the money for helping you, and you come out on top no matter what, because you're getting millions of dollars for this product. Like,
and what's even better
is
like
be
they
in a
try
better
to
spot.
Justify it because they made the patent for Guitar Hero. But like they didn't
Which is
keep
super
it.
good.
They just sold it and kept none of the rights to it.
That's super reputable too. Like they had so much going for them, and then they were just like, if they screwed themselves.
If
they said like 60, maybe they could bargain their way down to like 50. Because that's still pretty good. Like, if I was like a millionaire, I'd be like, okay, 50-50. You clearly know what you have, what you're doing. Like, you've clearly had experience. Like, you have the experience. Because some people will just come in, be like, I made a bag clip that ties itself. It's like, okay, cool. Like, you're just some Joe. Like, that's why they like business people better than just like some guy. But not that it doesn't make for a good story. Like, if they think it'll do well and it's just like some Joe, they'll be like, I'm all in. Like, I'm making a story about this and you're going to be a millionaire. But the thing is, like, the sharks, they have to like look out for themselves, because they have to also make money, because you know they already have millions of dollars. You know, if they lose anything, like they're automatically out on bottom because you took a big share. So they have to take enough in order to make a product, or in order to make a profit. My bad. But wow, we've been talking about Shark Tank for like 20 minutes. I love this show. I gotta watch more.
It really is. It really is. It's one of the best reality shows on TV.
It's such a good like if you're a psychology student or something, it's such a good like analytical piece. Like before I knew I wanted to go into communications, I was just like, this show is just like fascinating. Just to see how people stand.
You know what's even funnier? I remember this one guy. He sold this like all natural dog food that was like all made of like natural stuff, and like even a person could eat it. And he said that it helped treated cancer. And they said, "Wait a second, are you saying this dog food can cure cancer?"
Not
and
cure,
they fucking
but
trapped him into a no. He made it sound like it was it heavily influenced it.
There's a very thick line between remedy and cure, because treatments you have to keep going back.
No, the thing is though, he very much acted like it was like one of the leading reasons that like the one of the dog's cancer was
Oh
in
my God.
remission.
That just sounds
And
like a
so,
coincidence, honestly. Like I started
Yeah.
making my own dog food for my dog, and then he survived like cancer. It's like, yeah, that's usually it's
But
like
yeah, it was
correlation
just
doesn't equal causation.
this dude, like he got backed into a corner by all the sharks. It was fucking funny.
That's my favorite. The lead up to that, where all of them are like, I'm out, like one at a
Yeah.
time. They're just like, I think Ashton Kutcher was on a season of Shark Tank.
Yeah, he
And
was.
it's so weird seeing him all like super serious when like I
Yeah,
don't
because
really
he's a
know.
fucking actor. He's
I know.
Like, he's not even like, he's not even that much of an entrepreneur.
I've only
He
really
just
seen
does
him
it.
in like 2.5 Men, but like the characters he plays are always like goofballs or like idiots or something like that.
Yeah, I wonder
like that
I
70s
wonder
show.
like what he's invested in. I think he invested in like this one woman tried to pitch like a children's play place like company.
Oh boy.
And,
like those
and I
ones they
think
have
he
at like
funded it.
casinos.
Yeah,
That's
But it was
hilarious.
like it was meant to be its own standalone locations. I think he funded it. He was
Wow.
one of the. Yeah, he didn't. He's also an entrepreneur. What did he invest in?
Yeah, I mean, when you're like an actor or like when you're any like Hollywood bazingo and you get like a shit ton of money, like what else is there to do other than become an entrepreneur? That's probably like the most interesting thing you can do with your money.
Oh,
'Cause,
he
like,
made a, you know what he made? He made a fucking capital firm.
oh no.
Nothing better than to make your own investment company.
Yeah, oh my god. Because the thing about like being a billionaire is that like you can spend your money on things, but all those things will ever be is like things, and they'll
Yeah.
only ever be them. Whereas like if you're investing in stuff and money is like constantly moving around and you're still like making money somehow, like that's like interesting. That's like something it's not like
Yeah.
gambling where you're just like guaranteed to lose. Fucking
Yeah.
like stock market is just like suit and tie gambling basically, where it's like in a more business centric way because you're both looking out for each other, whereas like when you gamble pretty much the house always wins.
Yeah.
And you could probably argue the same for like the stock market where people are always going to lose out. My accounting teacher last year before I switched majors, he talked about how he had stock in Chipotle and Chipotle got a big rise and he pulled out before it took like a huge spike. Like he still made a lot of money. He made like $3,000, I think, which he went on vacation with at the time. This is like years ago. But like he went on vacation and then when he like got back, Chipotle had taken like a huge spike. Like he could have like probably fucking retired with that money. And he was like, man, like if only I'd stuck it out. But you know, it's all about
the thing
opportunity.
is, the stock market is pretty much just gambling in a
Unpredictable.
different way.
Yeah.
It's very unpredictable. You don't know, and if you can't really invest. You can't invest with insider information.
Yeah,
That's
there's no way. You know what I told my dad when the Tumblr apocalypse was happening? I said, Dad, invest in Twitter. That is going to shoot up this coming month. Because everybody's
Yeah.
making Twitter accounts because of Tumblr is like shutting everyone away. Because people were finally, like for years, everyone was like, when are we just going to ditch Tumblr for Twitter? And yet like Tumblr is still like better in a way, honestly. Just like community-wise.
I genuinely like.
It's a lot easier to not see jackasses on your feed on Tumblr, I
Yeah.
think. But I
Dude,
don't think my dad even listened to me when I said
I don't even know how
invest in Twitter.
Tumblr fucked themselves up this badly.
I don't know. We got to convince
Oh,
Disney
listen.
to buy Tumblr. That's the only way we'll
let's
take
not
them
do
down
that.
with a virus from within.
Let's fucking. How about we find who can invest in Tumblr and not fuck it up? Who I
Ashton
know.
Kutcher.
No, you know who would invest? You know who should invest in Tumblr?
What?
Fucking Wattpad.
Oh, God.
That's
Oh,
pretty
yeah,
good.
that sounds like a great idea.
God, like Tumblr literally had everything going for it. To be
Tumblr was
like
a
the-
fucking diamond in the rough. And they
Yeah.
smashed that diamond with an obsidian hammer. They
with an
straight
obsidian
up,
pickaxe.
they were basically like, how can we alienate every single one of our users? And then they did it. Like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how much you could just not listen to your fan base and get away with.
Yeah.
That kind of reminds me of Pokemon in a way, but I don't want to be like, because, you know,
Yeah,
because like Pokemon is a company, they're making money off a product,
Mm-hmm.
but Tumblr is like a website which actively depends on like current
the
and
user
active
base.
users. Yeah, like there's nothing but the website and like the user because it's user generated content. That's the thing. It's like it actively relies on having a user base. Whereas once you have a game, you have the game, and it'll never not be the game. You know what I mean? Like it's always just going to be that game. And I feel like for a long time, like especially with like the mobile app, they could just get away with like it being as janky and buggy as possible. Even when they like fixed certain things, it would only, or like added certain things, it would only just like cause more issues. It made me wonder, like, did they even test this shit on like a dev kit, or did they just make blind edits to the code and just make it public? And they're like, good luck.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of dev kits, the PS5 dev kit.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That was pretty cool. That was a
that's
pretty
like
neat thing.
what Tumblr does with their coding just reminds me of like, it makes me feel like it's just website battle royale. It's like, so you go, they just throw you in and they're like, good luck using our website. Yeah, that PS5 looks like a bun heater. Like you would put like a panini in there or something.
Yeah.
Just to keep it warm.
Have you seen other dev kits? Like, it's not going to be the final product.
I love the one that looks, the fake PS5 that looks like a fucking fidget spinner. That looks like some shit out of like sci-fi Star Trek or some shit.
My favorite one where it was the PS5 and it was literally just the game sphere from
yeah, that was obviously a GameCube parody, right?
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, or they had that in South Park, the Okama Game Sphere, the one with Towley. They're just like, whoa, it's the game sphere. But that was a parody on the Xbox, I think, because it was box shaped.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
The Y sphere.
Didn't they have something in like Fairly Odd Parents where it was like a pyramid? No, I think I'm thinking of Jimmy Neutron where they go into like the llama world. It's like a pyramid and they put like the disc in. I love like weird shaped consoles, even though they're super impractical. Like,
imagine actually genuinely making a fucking pyramid shaped system.
Somebody made like a custom PS4 that was like a recreation of like the Crash Temple. Or like the aesthetic of the first game. It looked like,
that's awesome.
It looked like a Crash level. It was like a temple on top of like the PS4, and you could see like the disc hole, and it had like Crash on top. I'm like, that's good if you have like a game station with like a dedicated shelf for it, but it's like super impractical if you're going to try to move it or something. But it's just a cool thing to have for like bragging rights or like to show off.
So like, where would I put my
neat conversation?
Where would I put my pyramid game console, my entertainment stand?
Yeah. Just let me stack all my games on the pyramid.
Yeah. I put some other I put some other game console dev kits. I love that the Xbox dev kit is literally just a fucking desktop computer.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Well, I mean, the original Xbox literally was just a PC. It literally was just PC hardware put into a box with
Nintendo's dev kits are my favorite, because wasn't the dev kit for like the DS like a Game Boy with a second screen like wired into it?
It was a Game Boy Advance with the with the SP top as the top screen.
I love
and
that.
Then a Super Nintendo controller.
I love that so much. And wasn't the dev kit for the Wii just like a GameCube? With like,
I think so.
it was like they did something weird for like the Wiimote and Nunchuck, and then they like.
You know what's even
do you have a picture? Can you find a picture?
I saw it on a Did You Know Gaming video, but you know what's even better about the fucking about the GameCube, or not the GameCube, the DS, when they were developing Partners in Time specifically, when they wanted to show like the gameplay on a TV. They did the same thing except with two Game Boy players on the GameCube, and they like attached them.
They put each screen to one GameCube.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Like Nintendo are fucking crazy.
That's funny in the context of it being a dev kit, but like I'm just imagining having to like capture it like as a user and having to get like two capture cards, like one for each screen. Like I'm glad we just have like capture cards the way they are.
Yeah,
and not like some janky thing.
Found it.
Like it's funny when it's janky when it's like the dev kit, but not if it was like a user thing.
Or you have to put these two images up.
Oh my! Oh yeah, I love that so much. That's like remember in Splatoon when if you wanted to do multiplayer, you had to like strap a Wiimote to like the Wii U Pro controller and with like a zip tie. That's like official Nintendo dev kit shit. It's so funny.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'll put that one up. I'll have to remember to put that one up near the end. What is this, like hour and 45 minutes or something?
Also, I realized that's a specially designed Super Nintendo controller, because look at the plastic. That's the same plastic that's like used on like a Game Boy Advance. That's weird.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I would love if these were like possible, like at home. Like I would love if you could make your own like bastard, like console.
Yes.
That'd be so funny.
Bastard console. Trying to figure out what game is on that
I've seen
screen in this
some-
prototype.
That looks like Pokemon to me. That looks like Oh wait, no, yeah.
It looks like Mother 3, kind of.
The top screen kind of looks like Emerald in a way, like that tan
Yeah.
pathway. It kind of looks like
I don't know.
one of the
I
routes with
think
like grass on the
It
side.
kind of also looks like Mother 3 because it looks like a scene of Mother 3 where there's like a farm. And
Yeah.
it kind of looks like bony.
What is that
There's
little
a
plug thing
little
on the
brown in
side?
middle. I think that's for a GameCube controller.
Oh boy, it looks like Square.
Yeah. God, dev kits are amazing. I love
Yeah,
them.
I'd love to make a console just to make a dev kit.
Yeah.
Did you see that guy who made like the portable GameCube?
Yeah.
And it
there's
was
a
just
bunch
like
of
a
stuff
giant
like that.
fucking Game Boy, and like the
Yeah.
disc was just on the back, out in the open. It's like have fun
That's definitely
slicing your
not-
fingers off.
Also, have fun fucking moving that shit around while the disc is spinning. That's
Yeah,
gonna
it's
fucking break the
so
disc.
heavy. Yeah, really. Yeah, just don't have a disc in it. He didn't even have like a cover for it or anything.
Like for me, because so you know what someone did? Someone took like a Wii revision where it was like a super small board. They desoldered some of the chips and like soldered it onto a smaller field and cut the board, and then they stuck the board inside a little GameCube candy shell,
Oh, no.
and then had like then they soldered on like a little. You know how some like video cameras and stuff have like what looks like a headphone jack, but it's really video out.
Yeah, I think so.
That's what they soldered onto it for that, and it was
Oh,
a mini
no.
GameCube. And you could plug in she made a special adapter too, where it was another like headphone jack, but it was like adapted to a GameCube controller, so you could plug it into
Yeah.
a thing, and it's saved to an SD card. And it worked. It played Mario Sunshine perfectly
I want that so bad. You have no idea how much I want to play Mario Sunshine on the go.
on a tiny little
Yeah,
candy shell GameCube.
it suits me perfectly. I
But
love
yeah.
that shell that the DS test thing has.
Yeah,
like that-
the original
that
DS
spine.
that was shown off at that E3 conference,
Oh my god.
where like it was all black around the screens.
It's great. Man, I don't know what to talk about anymore. I love that Dreamcast has like a tiny, tiny screen on the controller. That's like a Game Boy Micro.
Yeah, the VMUs were neat.
That reminds me of those images of like someone playing Mario Galaxy on a Game Boy Micro. I don't know if those are real or if they were just like Photoshops. But
Probably fake. Probably
I never
Photoshop.
saw video of it, but it looks really funny. Someday I'm gonna get Rhythm Heaven for Game Boy.
Have you
My
seen the
collection will be
original?
complete.
Have you seen the original PlayStation prototype? The back when it was going to be a Super Nintendo accessory.
Really? The
Yeah, there was a
PlayStation?
prototype. Yeah, because the PlayStation was going to be a CD add-on for the Super Nintendo.
Oh my god. I didn't know
And
that.
what happened was after Nintendo and Sony talked about it, then Nintendo went behind their backs and talked to Philips about also.
Oh, and that's how
potentially
the
making
CDI
add-on.
came about?
That's how the CDI Nintendo
Oh
games came
my
about, and then
God.
also
That is nuts.
Sony got really upset with them talking about to other companies behind their back when
They're
they
like,
thought they had
fuck
a
you,
deal.
we're making our own console.
Yeah, they
With
were
blackjack
almost going
and
to quit.
hookers.
They
In fact,
almost
forget
were
the
gonna quit.
console.
But then the one of the higher ups at Sony was like, nah, you know what we do? We fucking fight back.
So they almost like forgave Nintendo for doing that.
No, they didn't
Or-
forgive. They almost like just like they didn't. They wanted. They were probably going to hold a grudge against them,
I
but they
see,
weren't going
I
to like
see.
do anything about.
They weren't going to
yeah.
outright introduce a competitor.
But then someone was like, "No, we need to fight back.
God
We need
damn.
to fuck these up." But yeah, here's what it looks.
Oh wow. That's crazy. It's crazy to think that some like I don't know. It's crazy to think that some like PlayStation games could have been on like SNES or been on like a Nintendo
Yeah.
console. Like I want to see that universe where like
Yeah,
Persona
imagine
1
if
and
this
2
didn't
are
go
like
through.
Nintendo series
Yeah,
and like Joker was in Brawl or something. Even though he
Well,
wouldn't have
dude,
existed, but you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like I don't know, we
a
could have had
Persona
like
character being in
yeah,
Brawl.
yeah, something like that.
This would have
Like
been
the protagonist or
truly
something.
different.
Yeah.
Because then, if Nintendo and Sony were one entity, then that could have brought up the question: could Sega have actually worked by themselves and have the Dreamcast be a success.
Dude,
They had less competitors.
Is that what like brought upon the doom of the Dreamcast was like the PlayStation?
Kind of. The PS2 just sold so well. You know, it's the best-selling console of all time.
Not the Wii?
It didn't. No, the PlayStation 2 is still the best-selling game system of all time.
Best selling or highest gross? Highest grossing is the Wii, right?
Yeah, highest grossing is the Wii. The most
I get what you
sold
mean.
was the PS2.
Like on launch. I get what you mean. Yeah, two different things.
Yeah, the PS2 is like it's crazy. But also I think it's the reason part of it was also a DVD player, and DVD players cost the same amount at the time. So it's like, hey, you get to play DVDs and play video games. So it's like,
isn't that how like the PlayStation became like such a home console? Because they play like DVDs and stuff. And even my friend uses his like PlayStation 3 as like a disc player to this day.
Yeah, the
watch
PS1
videos and stuff.
DVDs. You know what's even better? There's videophiles who literally like the PS1's like output on like specific models is like really high quality. So it's like people have like modded it to like so they can like hook it up to their hi-fi equipment so they can listen to like their high quality CDs.
High quality rips.
Yeah, high quality game music rips.
Dude, you know, if Sony and Nintendo were together, Parappa could have been in Smash.
Oh fuck,
and not on PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale.
Battle Royale, Fortnite.
yeah, that existed before Fortnite was even like popular.
Yeah.
So that's funny to think, because now that's all people think about when they think Battle Royale, even though that game came out first.
There's also Kirby Battle Royale.
Oh yeah, that's true, on 3DS. Even though it kind of actually is, right? Because you all fight each other.
Yeah.
But did that come out first?
I think it came out.
It came out on 3DS, right?
It came out after PUBG, I think, because the 3DS, like it was after PUBG kind of made it popular.
PUBG really came and went, huh? I heard people talking about it for like a week, and then I like never heard of it again, and I was like, well, it's amazing the shelf life of games nowadays with the internet.
Yeah.
Like some games, like it used to be a game coming out was like such a huge thing, and like not that it isn't still like a big deal when like a game comes out.
Red Dead Redemption
like,
2 is like one of the most hyped up games of the past decade.
But like nowadays, you could just release a game and like no one will ever talk about it again. Like someone will put down that game one day, and that will be like the last time anyone ever touches that game. And meanwhile, there are still like old games from that old era where like people are still playing today. And like talking about like old games on like old consoles, stuff like that.
Yeah, and especially if it's like if a game gets preserved well, I think that also helps.
And if it's
like,
part of like a series.
Yeah, like Ace Attorney, those first 3 games have been preserved very well.
Yeah.
Because they were released on DS, which sold pretty well. They were released on WiiWare.
Yeah, DS was a popular console too at the time, right?
Yeah.
Because people were like, well,
DS
it's a big deal.
Really good.
Yeah.
And also, they released the Ace Attorney games on WiiWare. They re-released them recently with a trilogy.
Yeah.
Like the original 3 Phoenix Wright games have been very well preserved in the recent years.
Can I counter you with an opposite to that?
Sure.
The Persona series, where Atlas has said there's no plans to put Persona 5 on Switch and no plans to remake or even like port the old games to PS4. Even just like 3 and 4, like they have no plans to do that. And like it would make so many fans like happy because they'd get to play the games like legally and support the franchise and like show them how much they love the older games too.
And also like even a more accurate translation, because you know what Robot Lover told me? I think it was either Persona 1 or like one of Persona games, one of the Shin Megami Tensei games. They released a version of it to iOS that had a more accurate and better translation, but it got delisted off of the App Store.
Oh geez.
And now it's gone.
Also, Persona 1 is on the PlayStation Classic, and it's not even like the remake, it's just the original version. I think we talked about that when we were talking about the PS Classic last time. Didn't you get yours for like $20?
Yeah, I did. And
I can remember if it was 20 or 10.
20. Was
it originally 100?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
What's even better is the price might even go lower.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's a chance I might get sold for 15.
Yeah, but even with like the old Persona games, it's literally just encouraging people to emulate them at this point. Like nobody's gonna want to bother like getting a Vita or like getting an old console and then finding the old games online. Because every old game that's regarded as like a classic is always sold at least full price, if not more.
Yeah.
Like, if you go to a game store that has, like, GameCube games and you see Thousand Year Door, it will be at least $60. I guarantee you. I've seen it be, like, 75 or something like that. I think I got mine for, like, 65, which was, like, I considered a bargain. Because I just wanted my own copy.
Yeah, same.
It's so good. It's such a good game. The fact... Nintendo should look at that. Just the fact that a game from, like... What was it? 2005?
No, 2001 or 2.
Jesus. Was it that... No, Paper Mario 1 was 2000, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Paper Mario 1 was 2000. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Thousand Year Door was
2004.
That's 2004. A game from 15 years ago is still selling for full price. Like, that should show them that, like, people really give a shit about this game. Meanwhile, Color Splash is probably, like, $40 now or something.
Yeah,
and
I paid $40 for Color Splash.
Yeah, same. I paid full price. I paid with the intention of wanting to Let's Play it, but that never... I talked about that last time. I don't want to dwell too much on that one. We're already getting to the point where it's like, oh, we already talked about that.
Yeah, but you know what? That's fine. We can... When we do Let's Plays, when you get back and we do Let's Plays, we're to talk about.
Yeah, we're going to be like... Well, at least we'll have the game to talk about, because this is just, like, impromptu talking. I forgot to mention earlier on, but, like, there was no Pokemon this time. This is, like, the first podcast where we haven't had new Pokemon stuff to talk about.
Well, when they said they're talking about facts, they're talking about, like, actual, like, did you know fun facts about the new Pokemon.
Yeah, and we're also talking about just, like, how we feel about, like, the reveals and stuff like that. Or just, like, just new information, any new information.
Yeah.
Pokemon Masters is coming out soon, I guess, like, next week.
Next week.
And then the 27th,
I'm not
right?
sure if I'll get it.
I don't know. It's probably one of those gacha games that's, like, free to play, but, like, there is a cap on how much you can spend on premium currency, actually, which is great.
That's good.
That's a good step in the right direction for, like, other companies, because they want to prevent whaling. Because there's probably going to be kids playing that game, too. So, like, you know, God forbid some kids spend, like, $2,000 on, like, waifus.
J-Wits and one other guy, they said they put so much money into it. Like, they
it's a Fire Emblem?
Yeah, and the Fire Emblem
I remember that. I saw that video.
J-Wits said he
swore off
deleted it off of his phone
just
so he could, like, and
focus on himself. Yeah, that's good. Because, like, gacha game streamers, they pretty much have it made. They get paid to gamble, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is what it is. Like loot boxes and gacha, it's, like, all the same. Just for PNG waifus.
Just fucking commission an artist. Like, you can find someone who can draw similarly to the official artwork.
And you'll be supporting the artist in the meantime. So it's like, hey.
Yeah.
It's just the rush of, like, not knowing what you'll get. And, like, hoping for that one thing, you know. It's not like winning money. Because, like, you win money. It's, like, whatever. But, like, it's like gambling for, like, things is like, oh, man. Like, you know, I got a lot on the line. Yeah, so, like, there's no more Pokemon for now. So you got us, Game Freak. You got us. You broke our hot streak of the podcast.
Tomorrow they're gonna post.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah, like right after. At least it'll give us something to talk about next time, because then it would be unlikely we would keep it going after that.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Brawl was coming out and how there were, like, weekly little segments on, like, the website that would share, like, little tidbits?
Though, I wasn't really there for the hype period.
Me neither. I just knew about it.
Yeah, I just kind of heard about it. I was just like, oh, that's cool.
I literally got Brawl at the store. Brawl was my first Smash game. I literally got it at the store. I was like, Mom, this game looks cool. Can we buy it? And she was like, sure.
Yeah.
And that's how I got Brawl.
Same. But for me, I rented it from Blockbuster because I was like, oh, video game.
Yeah.
And then I rented it. I played it. I played some matches. I played the training mode a little bit just to goof around. And then I was like, ooh, single player mode. Ooh, what's this subspace? Just like,
same.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, because, like, the logo was, like, purple. It's like, whoa, that's not like anything else.
Yeah, it was a very magical experience. The thing is, though, also, because I was dumb, I very much had little experience with a lot of these series.
Yeah, same.
Like, I didn't really know who Fox was, like, or Falco, or Wolf.
I just remember seeing the box art and thinking, like, Samus looked cool. And I think I, like, vaguely recognized Wario, but, like, that was about it.
But yeah, for me, it was just like a very interesting experience for me. I rented a lot of games.
That's like the same with me for, like, Pokemon. Like, I just got like Fire Red for Christmas one year, and I loved it.
You know what's funny? For me, what happened was I knew this kid, and I'm not gonna say his name, but you probably know him. You met him at Rec Center.
Probably. I'll probably know who you're talking about vaguely.
Basically, basically he was playing Pokemon Leaf Green, and I was like, whoa, or Fire Red, right? One of the two. I was like, whoa, what's this? He was like, oh, you haven't heard of this? It's like, whoa. So he let me play it on like a ride home because we had gymnastics together too.
Oh, nice.
And
That's nice.
so I fought like it was the rival battle outside of Viridian City, and I was just like, whoa, this is crazy. And so like what happened was I was like, I want a Pokemon game, and then I got Red Rescue Team. I was like, no, the thing is, I wasn't really upset.
You're like, I want red, and they're like, here you go, it's the red one.
I wasn't really upset. I was like, oh, this is cool. I am a Pokemon.
Yeah.
And then
you're like, what's going on?
Then I watched the anime, and then that Christmas, I believe it was 2005 or it was either when I was 5 years old in 2006 or 2005. In my stocking there was Fire Red and Leaf Green.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
I played it. Never beat it. It took me until a few years ago to actually beat Fire Red.
Yeah, it took me forever. I don't even remember my original team. I just remember I had Venusaur, but like I sucked at Pokemon as a kid.
It was, for me though, it was my freshman year of high school when I beat it, so I do remember my team. And you know what's even better? I beat Pokemon Blue before I ever beat Pokemon Fire Red. Because for Game Boy, I was just like, oh boy.
Yeah.
And I remember my team from that too. It was Charizard, Butterfree, Raichu, Dugtrio, Vaporeon, and then I had a Zapdos on my team just as a fly slave.
Of course.
And what happened is, I played when I was finished with Lance, some of my Pokemon were knocked out. So I looked up Blue's team, and I was just like, huh, most of his team is weak to Electric. So I was like, I can just double team this with my Zapdos and my Raichu. And I just beat his ass.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's just like, I remember watching Maryland and his like wedlock and being like, this game is like notoriously easy. And I was like, tell that to my dumbass 8-year-old self. Can't even beat the champion. Because I didn't even think to save before the fight, I think. I was like, I gotta do it all in one run. And,
no save scumming.
Basically, yeah. And, what was I even gonna say? That's another example of like one of those games where it's like, I remember how awful I did on my first playthrough. Another example of that for me would be Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, the original. I was awful at that game when I first played. I died to like some of what people consider like the easiest bosses, like Trunkle. I died to him like so many times. And then like on replay through, you just like basically kill him in one shot because the bros moves are broken. Like if you know how broken the bros moves are and you've got like good reaction time, then like you can pretty much easily blast through that game, which is kind of why I'm glad they came out with the remake. Just because like a lot of the people complaining about like the redesigns, like this was before like any character really had like a solidified design in like Mario, like the Koopas and stuff like that. Like they were still kind of getting the hang of it. And that was after Mario 64, right? Mario and Luigi.
Yeah.
So they were still kind of like getting a feel for like how the characters should look. So like naturally when they went to like the serialized, you know, like set in stone design, people are like, what? Why did they do that? Why did they change? I'm like, because they weren't designed with that in mind back then. They were literally just like fudge it basically.
Could you imagine if like instead of Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, like a GBA Paper Mario game?
Oh man, that would be pretty cool, honestly. Because like the original Paper Mario kind of looks like it could be on Game Boy. Just because like the pixely art style. It was honestly, originally supposed to be a sequel to Mario RPG, right?
Yeah. Honestly, for me, I was sort of hoping at the tail end of the 3DS lifespan they were going to pull something like with the Luigi's Mansion 3DS remake.
Paper
where
Mario
they're going
remake.
to have it and sell it and have like
that would have been neat.
Just to gauge interest. I was hoping they were going to remake Paper Mario 64 Thousand Year Door on the 3DS and,
that'd be neat.
And just
I don't know
to
about,
gauge interest.
I don't know how I would feel about Thousand Year Door being on 3DS, because it seems kind of like insulting to just like make it a budget title on like a dying system, basically. I feel like it does deserve better, like the HD treatment.
Yeah, I agree. I do think I know. I agree. I think it should be. I think it should look at least as good as it does on Dolphin with HD textures
of course.
And like widescreen.
See, that makes sense, because you know how people are like, oh, it's Unreal Engine, like that's soulless, but like the like HD like refinements, like those are with care.
Like that Majora's Mask refinement, like the HD version of Majora's Mask.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, by the same video with the weird thumbnail. Yeah,
it's super crazy good looking.
Yeah, it keeps true to the style of the original
Yeah.
It just makes it look a little nicer. It's nice.
Honestly, though, like for me, the thing is though, they're mostly just the reason why I would be fine with either, just because I just wanted a good Paper Mario game for them to gauge interest to see if people want more of that.
I just want to see.
Anything else.
I want to see what it could look like today, like on today's console.
Yeah.
Because even when the 3DS was at the end of its lifespan, it very much isn't like the pinnacle of graphics. You know,
Yeah.
like when Dream Team first came out, I was like amazed. I was like, wow, like because I played Bowser's Inside Story. That was my first Mario and Luigi game, and I loved it, and it's still my favorite to this day. And I was like, wow, I wonder what the next one on like 3DS is going to look like. And then it came out, and I was like, they should remake the other games in this style. Literally, I predicted the future in 2014 to myself with no documented proof. So take that. But it was definitely a thought.
You're right.
Take that, deniers. I don't know, but it was very much a thought I had, and I was like, yeah, they look amazing, but it's very much not, you know, the pinnacle of graphics that Nintendo's capable of, at least. It's good for what it is. I will agree. I did like the graphics of, like, Bowser's Inside Story, the 3DS one, because the backgrounds... I like
a lot of the backgrounds.
Yeah, oh my god. The backgrounds inside of Bowser are great. And, like...
Though I do kind of miss some of the color palettes of the original.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like,
and,
I miss
the vibrance.
like the... Yeah, like the original... Pipe. Like, yeah, and all... I like the flame pipe more in the remake. I'm talking about, like, the first area you're in was, like, blue and pink, and I really liked how that looked in the original. Yeah.
Or the junk pit, or whatever it's called. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Where you first are.
Yeah.
Also,
I just like it because it's one of those things where it's like, this is how you imagine it when you first play it. Like, you know how we were talking about, like, old games, you know, you kind of fill in the blanks yourself. That's what it looks like. And that's what I feel like remake graphics should look like, is how you imagined it to look with these shitty graphics when you were a kid.
What I would want is, like, if I could add one more thing rather than just upscale HD refinements to Thousand Year Door, I'd probably add color splashes lighting. You can call me a fucking loser, but I love... I totally agree. I genuinely, like Wind Waker looks great, but I prefer the lighting on HD. I don't know why. I just think it looks neat.
Yeah, it's more cartoony in the original, I think. And I feel like, I don't know, it's just up to personal preference, honestly. Because even some people still think the original looks better. Just personal preference.
I think when the original Wind Waker holds up better, but I just prefer how HD looks.
Yeah, I get you. And what was I gonna say? It's fucking, like, I could just imagine, like, Boggly Woods or, like, the Glitz Pit with, like, the proper lighting.
Yeah, that
would just, like,
just be
like the ambient forest lights, and then, like, the bright, like, flashing lights of, like, the Glitz Pit, and then there's, like, and Twilight Town.
Yeah,
and that already did get the That already did get the aesthetic down pretty nice in the Twilight Forest or whatever. I think that was pretty good. But I can just imagine it with, like, the color splash lighting.
Yeah.
With,
could
like,
you imagine, like, the Macho
so
Grubba transformation with, like, that'd be pretty neat.
Oh, yeah, with, like, actual visual effects and not just him, like, kind of growing. That would be awesome.
You know what I also would probably add to a Thousand Year Door remake? More Yoshi colors.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's dependent on, like, how long it takes to hatch, right?
Yes. Green for the shortest, white for the long.
And then it loops after a while. I remember one of my playthroughs, I actually got the black Yoshi.
Oh, that's neat.
I always get a cool color.
That's the second longest one.
I think I got a red one my first playthrough. I would have to check my memory card, actually, because I did replay through the game. I think I got the orange one, and then...
Yeah, orange is right in the middle. In order from shortest to longest,
I remember making green, a spreadsheet once. Pink?
Yeah.
It's pink
green. No, pink is third longest.
Okay, just read it off.
It's green, red, blue, orange, pink, black, white.
Yeah, I remember white is, like, the rarest. It reminds me of the Yoshi colors in Yoshi's Island. Like, the order you would play as them in each, like, level. Yeah. Which is pretty neat, because, like, you get the black and white ones for, like, the secret levels and stuff, which I think is neat. But I did get a black one. I named it Shadu after the boss from the Pit of 100 Trials in Super Paper Mario.
Oh, that's cool.
From the flop side one. We talked about that last time again, where it's all just coming back together. We talk about Paper Mario. But yeah, I named it after that because I thought that was cool. Because it's like, oh, it's like a shadow guy, you know?
Ooh, I think I have something we could talk about. Nintendo posting that, Nintendo posting that image of Mario, like, eating watermelon. It was like, oh, summer, it's really cool, guys. And they said the word sunshine, like, in their own tweet.
Oh no. Did
you
that get a
not see
bunch of
this?
people? No, I don't think I did. Did that get? I
Here.
saw someone reply like Mario looks like a stupid fucking idiot.
But yeah, here it is. Even
Filled
Mario
with
needs a little summer vacation. No matter where your summer odyssey took you, we hope it was filled with sunshine.
Wait, they said Odyssey too? Dude, this has to be hinting at something.
Yeah.
And he's
And
even got like
also-
the beach shirt.
And he also has toenails, so that's kind of weird.
Oh god. Oh no. First Mario's nipples, now Mario's toenails. Jesus Christ. Dude, I would love like a Sunshine game with like Odyssey controls and graphics.
That'd be great.
Although, like, as much as I would love for, like, an Odyssey 2 to have, like, a bunch of old areas. Dude, imagine if they referenced, like, a bunch of other Mario games in, like, a Mario 3D game. Like if he went to... You know how in Superstar Saga there was, like, the Hooniversity that had, like, all the different types of blocks? Imagine, like, Mario going to, like, the Bean Bean Kingdom and then, like, something to do with, like, the Shrooms or something.
Yeah.
And then, like, some Paper Mario area. That would be so awesome.
That would be cool.
Nintendo doesn't seem to like to do that though. Except for like
Yeah,
I guess
I get
Galaxy
why.
2 with like Throwback Galaxy, but even that is just another like another 3D Mario reference. And in Odyssey, obviously the whole Mushroom Kingdom. I think that's what got people wanting like Isle Delfino and
The
like
thing is, also there was like on the world there was like a bump like that was in the shape of Delfino Island. It just didn't have any textures on it.
on the map on the globe. I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. That could have been a hint at it too, or just a reference. I don't know. Not everything has to be an ARG. Feel like it's probably DLC or a thing or something like that.
I'm shocked Odyssey had not actually had DLC yet.
It had Balloon World and it had a bunch of DLC
Well,
outfits.
that was like a free update though.
Yeah.
That wasn't paid.
It's technically
I'm talking
DLC
about,
though,
like-
because like Splatoon had DLC. It had
I
like
know, I'm talking
weapons
about,
for
like,
like 2 years and
like,
it
I'm
did
talking about,
have
like,
the
a paid
Octo expansion. That was
expansion.
like the paid DLC.
Yeah, I'm talking about like a full paid expansion,
Like a new
like a Breath of the
mode,
Wild.
basically. Yeah, I get what you
Yeah,
mean.
like maybe I already mentioned this Luigi Odyssey, like
Yeah.
with Luigi's controls and stuff like that.
I see what you mean. Or like Super Paper Luigi.
Yeah,
Maybe if Luigi's Mansion does well, they'll consider doing like more Luigi games.
yeah.
Like
I mean,
New
that's
Super
what I'm
Luigi U.
hoping. Except instead of like it being like a weird side game to Mario, you would be like an actual like.
Yeah. Relating to your story before on how you got like Red Rescue Team instead of Fire Red, when I got my Wii U, I like gave my mom like a little list of like games I wanted, and one of them was like Mario U, and I got Luigi U, and I played it, and it was so hard just from like
Yeah.
playing it first without having played Mario U. I was like, I don't want to play this.
I got Luigi U and Wind Waker HD and
Yeah,
my Wii U Pro
same.
controller as my Christmas gifts.
I couldn't play. I couldn't even download Wind Waker HD because the servers were all fucked because like probably millions of other kids were getting Wii U's for Christmas too, so I couldn't even get on the eShop to like redeem my code. And then the only other game I had was like Scribblenauts Super Heroes, and I got bored of it like really fast.
Did you ever download Wind Waker HD on your Wii U?
Yeah, I have it. I got like
Okay.
past the Forsaken Fortress, but that's about it. I didn't get far in
I-
either Wii U Zelda game.
I've played up to after the first dungeon in
The first like proper dungeon, you mean?
yes.
Yeah, I didn't even get
Dragonverse,
that far.
The best song ever.
I didn't even get that far.
All right, I'm gonna mention one more thing because I'm kind of disappointed it hasn't surfaced anywhere yet.
Oh, boy.
But, at Level Up Expo, Team 4-Star did a panel, and what they did instead of like a Q&A, they did like a thing about making an abridged series. And what they did was they were like, here guys, here's what we're gonna do. We have this short little clip from Tokyo Ghoul. We're gonna mute the audio, and then they also decided to use a free video editing software because Premiere wasn't working because the Wi-Fi in the convention center was spotty.
Oh boy,
So they couldn't use Premiere CC.
Jesus.
So like they downloaded OpenShot, a free video editing software, which funny enough, I actually have experience in using
Nice.
because in middle school I edited a Crash Course parody that we made in my computer science class.
You gotta show me that.
No, I don't have it.
Aw, that's a
it's
shame.
on it's on that teacher's computer still. I
Aw,
wish I
man.
had a flash drive and
Just
saved it.
Sneak back into High School Name
No, the thing is,
Redacted
though-
and get it.
No, the thing is though, that guy he left a long time ago.
Oh,
I'm
no.
not sure if he still has it, but basically he was the host. And it was called Brain Freeze, and it was about World War II, and and it was filmed on a camcorder he had. But we also had a second view, a second camera. It was on this shitty tablet, and it was like the quality was noticeably worse.
That reminds me of like a video I made with my friend in high school. We had to do like a tutorial video where we teach you how to do something, and we made a purple rhubarb pie, which was obviously a rhubarb pie with purple crust. And it was an amazing project that I think is on my friend's hard drive on his MacBook, like back home, because that's the computer he worked on it on. So he doesn't like actively have it, but we still have to like search for it so we can watch it again. So go on.
Basically, at the panel, what they did was they were looking through, and they're like, all right, so here's what we gotta do. First things first, gonna look through, just get a rough estimate of what they're saying. We gotta think of jokes. And also, like when they looked at one character, they're like, "This guy, you take any random background character and you make them your merch character. You have them say the wacky shit you put on the T-shirts."
I love that.
And so, they started pulling up people to do voices from the
crowd.
Scene. Yeah, from the crowd.
Oh, that's awesome.
Also, and
that reminds me of those reanimated things where like everybody does their own little thing. I'd love to see like a dub like that, actually, like like an abridged thing where like everyone does their own line.
But I actually was one of them. I was
nice.
the haha funny T-shirt guy.
Did you get in a T-shirt?
What happened? No. What happened was they were trying to pick the person to do the haha funny T-shirt voice, and me and this Misty cosplayer raised our hands at the same time.
What cosplay?
So I just picked this. A girl cosplaying as Misty, and
I see.
What they did was we spoke in sync. We did the fusion dance, and so what happened was I forget what the whole point was. I forget what the buildup was, but our line was, "Holy shirt, is that a phone?" Because like I forget what the fucking context was, but it was pretty funny at the time.
You'll have to find it somewhere and send it to me.
But the thing is, though, Team Four Star never uploaded it. I don't think they ever did. But also,
someone has to have recorded that panel.
I hope so. But,
like they had to have known what they were planning and was like, I got to camcorder this.
When I was there, after we recorded our line, I said to Kira, and I was like, "Hey, so when are we gonna get our royalties for these shirts?" They're like, "Oh, just give us your credit card and social security card number. We'll get back to you."
They use your money to pay for the shirt with your quote.
It was really good.
That's the ultimate Shark Tank.
They're really nice guys. I really like them.
I like when YouTubers are just like friendly and they seem like people.
Yeah, I talked to them after another panel they did where they actually tried to do it on Saturday, but they messed up. So they couldn't they were having issues.
Damn.
But yeah, I talked to them after one of their panels. They're really nice. I warned them whenever they do a black and white Nuzlocke that they need to be wary because that game's fucking hard. Oh, and they will probably have a lot of deaths. And I suggested, they probably forgot by now, that if they do get a Panseer.
Oh, yeah.
No, I suggested if they get a Panseer, please name it Outcast.
after the band?
After the rap duo.
They actually did. That'd be pretty dope.
And they said, if they do a Pokemon White Nuzlocke and I see Outcast in their fucking... If they remember to this day. Yeah, if they remember and they also get a fucking Oshawott as their starter and get a Simisear, I will scream my lungs out.
Oh, is it like random? Did they do like the dice method where they just pick a...
Yeah, but the thing is though, it was, they did it, I think they sort of did that. I think they picked Charmander in Leaf Green. They randomly got Chikorita
varying rules. Yeah, I remember that because there was that whole highlight reel you showed me of him like pulling through it. Yeah, even though it was a girl, and then wasn't it?
Yeah. No, it was a guy.
Oh, was it?
They wanted to name it Miss Steak, and they realized it was a guy, so they named him Mr. Steak.
Oh yeah, then, I get it. Okay.
And then in Emerald, they picked Mudkip because they said, "Oh, we got fire. Might as well just do water."
Fire and then grass. Yeah, like the Chugga pattern.
Yeah.
Where it's like grass, water, fire.
And so, but yeah, they were really neat.
That's fun. Okay, I think that'll be good for an episode.
Yeah.
Oh, now that this series is officially on YouTube, I got to do the YouTube shill stuff. If you like this podcast, this is going to be a weekly series from now on. This is going up the day after we record it, and last week's episode is going up the day we record this. So after this, it'll be a weekly series, likely coming out on Saturday. Subscribe, hit the bell. If you really like the episode, be sure to like it. It really lets me know that people are liking the series, obviously. It motivates us to do more, even though it's going on my channel. You know, Zach keeps track of all the statistics and stuff too.
Yeah.
He appreciates it, and he likes being on here too. Isn't that
Yeah,
right?
it's fun.
I say with like a gun to your head, like, isn't that right?
I like it. I like it.
But yeah, please let us know what you think. Even if you have like a comment you want to leave or something, anything's appreciated. Honestly, we're still a budding little podcast, and we're hoping to do more. Like I said, I'd love to get it on Spotify or something someday. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, all the YouTube shit. Have a good one, and I hope you enjoy listening to the podcast. Goodbye.
Goodbye.